And just before we get underway, Alan Shearer, just your thoughts, just before kick-off.
Oh, I can't wait. I want England to show real intent right from the first off. I want to see energy. I want to see them try again and push high up the pitch and press high up the pitch and show the Dutch that they're in for one hell of a game tonight.
And the World Service join us as England kick off here in Dortmund in the second European Championship semi-final of the tournament, for the right to play Spain in Berlin on Sunday night. England fire it forward towards Harry Kane, and the captain with the heaviest touch, Gakpo, then collides with Walker, and the much talked about German referee Felix Zweier, that's dominated the headlines this week. He gives an early free kick the way of the Dutch. Gareth Southgate last night, I actually saw him greet the referee and the officials down in the tunnel area. It was all smiles, happiness, very, very friendly. I'm not sure that's going to be an issue tonight, Alan.
No, it shouldn't be an issue. The players wouldn't want to get into entertained in that, and certainly Gareth wouldn't want to either. It was always going to be all smiles if he did see him.
Well, quite so. So the Dutch with the ball on the edge of their own penalty area. These two very experienced central defenders, Van Dijk and De Vrij, both 32 years old. Van Dijk, who's just won the title again with Inter in Italy. Now here's Dumfries on the right-hand side. Hits a long pass for Marlon to chase, but he just broke too early and the offside flag was up. I'm not sure he would have reached it anyway, but it's a free kick to England.
Just looking at the system, it's pretty much what we expected. You could see when the Dutch had the ball there, and Saka taking his right wing back position up and helping his defenders out.
So England in possession in front of their own penalty area. England, who have never reached a final on foreign soil, and here we are in a semi-final with England for the third time in the four major tournaments that Gareth Southgate has been the manager for. Actually, if you add the Nations League back in 2019 when they lost to the Netherlands, it's four semi-finals. England with Walker, heavy touch. Walker though just touches it past Gakpo. Now Saka, infield to Menu. Menu then, little ball to his left. Jude Bellingham just dwelt on it, and as a result he was closed down by Simons, and now Declan Rice is able to muscle his way ahead of Marlon, and England have got possession back on what is currently a dry evening here. It's nothing like as warm as it was last night. The thunderstorms have just eased the temperatures, but we have had some very heavy showers in the build-up to kick-off. So John Stones just bringing the ball forward. Stones tonight winning his 78th cap, which brings him level with two other fine defenders, Stuart Pearce and John Terry, and now he's one ahead of the great Terry Butcher. Here is Rice on the halfway line. Declan Rice just takes it on a little further, and then there's a first touch over there on the far side from Trippier. Comes back infield towards the 19-year-old Kobbie Mainoo, slipped by Foden as the challenge came in. He was nudged over, and the free kick after the challenge by Schouten goes England's way.
Yeah, they've done really well, those two midfielders, for the Dutch, Schouten and Reinders, and that's going to be a huge responsibility on those two tonight, particularly with the positions that Foden and Bellingham will want to get into. You can see them now, they're just actually, neither of them have stood on them. Yeah,
they've been consistent selections. In advance of the tournament, you would have thought Frankie de Jong and Koop Miners, maybe Martin de Roon would have been in there, so they've done very well, these two. Here's Foden as England move it through the middle, but then the recovering De Vrij just takes it away from him, and Van Dijk goes back to Verbruggen, who Foden was all over. He had to be very sharp there. The 21-year-old Dutch goalkeeper, all in yellow, and England playing it out to the white headband of Depay. Now you can hear the orange. Simons ball through to Marlon on the edge of the penalty area, but a very good challenge from Walker coming across, timed it well, and the ball was just deflected back to Pickford.
That was really good play from the Dutch, the way they moved it back from the goalkeeper through to the midfield and then into Depay, and then trying to get the ball forward quickly into Marlon. One to watch that one.
Early thoughts, Matt Upson?
Yeah, it just shows you back. I mean, England really went hard on the press there, didn't they? Foden went all the way into the keeper, and Holland played through really well.
Here's Bellingham now, striding from deep, plays it to his right to Harry Kane. Now Saka, right side of the penalty area. Saka up against Nathan Ake, curls it in left-footed towards the back post, where De Vrij got his head to it, didn't clear the penalty area. Trippier's there, he's able to get the ball down. Rice, this is the first real pressure that we've seen from either side, and England testing the Dutch defence. Rice, now Phil Foden, still waiting for his first positive involvement in terms of goal or assist at the tournament, but his pass forward found Trippier in an offside position, and it's a free kick for the Dutch.
Well, it shouldn't be offside there, Trippier. He's looking right across the line. In his defence, he did want the ball played to him that little bit earlier because he'd gone and wanted it, but because it didn't, and there was a little bit of a delay on it, he then ran into an offside position.
So Netherlands 0, England 0. The Dutch in possession on the edge of their own penalty area. The Dutch, who themselves have not been in a World Cup or European Championship semi-final for 10 years, not for 20 years in this competition since Euro 2004. Here's Van Dijk, who missed the last Euros, remember, when England went so close at Wembley. De Vrij, very, very patient, and then Schouten back to Van Dijk, and here is Nathan Ake. Nathan Ake with his clubmate Phil Foden closest to him. Now it's worked here to Reinders. Gakpo, one of the joint top scorers, dispossessed by Saka, and Saka making ground quickly up to Harry Kane, gives it back to Saka. Kane might have been fouled, but the referee waves the advantage, although Saka is actually just weaving from right to left. But England retain possession. Rice goes back to Stones, and then Walker, a little ball in for him to Bellingham. Mainoo's just backed away to the right-hand side. You see Ronald Koeman for the first time down there since the start of the match, with his still blonde hair, dressed in black, England's old adversary, as Trippier sends one forward for Bellingham to chase, but that will just bounce through to Verbruggen.
It was a really good tackle from Saka, wasn't it, when the Dutch were trying to get the ball into Gakpo. It was one of those where, I'm just going to let you know I'm here in the first few minutes of the game. He timed it to perfection, Saka, that tackle.
Yes, he did. 0-0. And De Vrij and Van Dijk again with the ball halfway inside their own half. Harry Kane comes to him, and so Van Dijk plays it to Dumfries over there on the right-hand side, the other Interman, his pass forward. Mark Gay back in the team, does well to readjust, get to it. Rice is robbed by Simons. Simons shoots and scores! What a super strike that was from Simons from the edge of the penalty area. It arrowed beyond the dive of Pickford. I say Pickford as well has just collided with one of the Dutch players, but it is 1-0 to the Netherlands, and a goal in the 7th minute, and the Dutch are ahead in the semi-final.
Wow, what a strike. He couldn't have hit it any better. It just opened up for him, and the shot was so inviting that he wasn't going to turn it down. What was it, 20, 23 yards out, and it's pinged into the right-hand side of the net. Pickford had no chance. Did really well in winning the tackle. Takes the ball off of Rice, I think it is, in there. Then it just opens up. There's no pressure on the ball. What a strike, what a goal.
Well, it's not often you see Declan Rice dispossessed in that area of the pitch. Simons really was aggressive. He wanted the ball and he took it. And then from then on, the positivity, he just saw the hole. It's a funny technique the way he hits it. He's almost kind of sliding into the shot, strikes it really straight on, but hits it really flush. Sweet into the top corner, super shot.
So there we are, a big early setback for England and for Gareth Southgate, as Xavi Simons of PSG scores in front of the now orange wall. Here's Bellingham on the edge of the penalty area. So once again, England are going to have to come from behind. Bellingham's attempted cross, that's blocked. Came from behind in the round of 16, came from behind in the quarter-final. Here today, they are behind early in the 7th minute. Simons, what a goal it was. Brilliantly struck. Just his second for his country, and it flew past Pickford, as there is a foul for Marlon's challenge on Bellingham, who was caught about the face, and it's a free kick to England near the left corner of the penalty area.
No, I think they're just battling for the ball, and he may have just took one in the face there. It was Schouten, I think it was, wasn't it?
No, it was.
It's a little clash of heads, isn't it?
And Bellingham, and actually Kieran Trippier saying to the England medical people who ran onto the field, Kieran Trippier's actually standing over him and saying, go on, actually no, we don't need you. And they've just run off the field on the far side. Bellingham's okay, but actually now the Dutch medical people have been called on, because Schouten, who did collide, he is going to be looked at. And it is it was a knock of heads, so understandable. But an England set piece that what a goal that was to score in a semi-final by Simons.
What a strike it was. He won't hit many better than that in his career. It was really impressive the way he robbed Rice of the ball and then thought, you know what, I'm going to have a pop here. He just flew into the top corner. But England here have got a free kick in a really promising position.
Well, last night France went ahead early against the Spanish. And great goal that was here by Simons. I don't think it was quite as good as Lamine Yamal's last night, which I think will have to be the goal of the tournament, Alan.
Yeah, that was an incredible strike as well from a 16-year-old. Johnny's 17, isn't he, on Saturday? So, yeah, what a goal. What a goal we've seen this evening. And
actually, Bellingham has just gone off the field. They're just having a look at him, or has he just gone through? Actually, the referee's just gone over there to Jude Bellingham. The history they've got between them, just a little word between the two.
I think he needs both of them to stay off the pitch, because the trainers have both come on, so both players have to go off.
They came on the field, so yeah. So it's a free kick then, and both playing with 10 men, and actually Shoughton sitting down on the far side. Trippier, no, it's going to be Foden to take this free kick in, which is headed away by Ake, who did well, won that header commandingly. Seen him do that so often for Manchester City. Saka wins the ball back, the man who scored the equaliser in the quarter-final. Saka is bundled into by Gakpo, sends him flying, and it's a free kick that the Dutch don't like, but shoulder into his back.
He's had a good start to the game, Saka. You know, he's made a couple of really good tackles and trying to force his way down that right-hand side and trying to put the pressure back on them.
He just switched onto us late. Alan Shearer's with us here on 5 Live tonight for the commentary, and the highlights will be on BBC One tonight after the news. And it's a free kick to England. England trailing to that early goal from Xavi Simons. And Trippier and Foden trying to work something again. England have created so little from set pieces. Without the Harry Maguire threat at this tournament, he's been a big miss in that regard. Free kick that Trippier will come up and strike now, curling it in towards the back post. Rice is there, tries to work it across, and Kane was on the edge of the 6-yard box, but Van Dijk got there to lash it out of play into the England fans over on the far side.
You mentioned the lack of chances from set pieces. There's actually been a lack of chances in all of the games that they've played. It's been one of the big disappointments, is that with the forward talent that they've got, they just haven't created anywhere near enough.
Yeah, it is perplexing, actually, as Rice gets the ball back. And the referee spotted an infringement. I think they played it back to Trippier, who was then in an offside position, so it's a free kick to the Dutch.
For the second time, Trippier, again, he's looking right across the line. And he is offside, he can't have any complaints.
It is the Dutch who take the free kick, and Bellingham and Shoughton are both back on the field. I think, yes, there is Shoughton down there, the number 24. Great noise from the Dutch as England try to respond. Here is Menu going between two Dutch players, gives it to Trippier. Bellingham's out there. Bellingham picks out Kane on his right foot. Kane shoots, and Verbruggen has to go down and save that. The shot from probably 25 yards plus, and it's out for a throw on the far side.
Yeah, why not? Why not have a pop? Very much like it did for Simons. It opened up for him. Didn't need a second invitation. It was a decent save. Keep it down to his right-hand side.
So that's England do have an attempt on target, and Verbruggen had to make a decent save down to his right. Had a good sight of it. England, as they play from left to right here as we look. Behind already, Rice. Back to Gay. Now here's Trippier over on the far side. Comes back to Mark Gay, who will just steer it all the way back to Jordan Pickford. So let's bring in Matt Upson. Again, thoughts, Matt?
Yeah, it was an interesting parry, wasn't it, from Verbruggen? I mean, he made it look easy, but he parried it all the way out for a throw. It's a really good piece of play from the goalkeeper, but Harry Kane just dropping into that pocket. England with good possession, he found some space and got a shot off.
Bellingham, passes intercepted, but into the path of Kane. Now to Saka. Saka onto his left foot, trying to find a position. Still going. Saka shoots. It's blocked. Then Kane over the top of the crossbar, and Kane's been caught in there. As Kane hit that, he's clutching his right foot, and he's in some pain as the shot flew over the top of the crossbar.
Well, the England players are looking to the referee. They think there was a collision. Saka does really well, and he runs into the traffic, but then the ball falls kindly for Kane. I think it's just Dumfries that comes in with that challenge. He does connect with him, you know.
As he came in, Dumfries, Kane had already hit the shot, and let's bring in Izzy. This is at your end, Izzy, so you were, what, 10, 12 yards away from it?
Yeah, if that, John. I mean, it's a wonderful strike from Harry Kane. He does so well to generate the power, and I thought it was in, and it sailed over the bar, but there was some power behind it, and he went down, Harry Kane, in a lot of pain. and he did catch him late, didn't he, Dumfries? I know that you guys can see the monitor up there, but Kane's shot earlier to that as well was fantastic because he hit it into the ground, and Verbruggen has had to really watch that, because that's how to score, is to hit into the ground and watch the ball fizz off the surface.
The referee is saying to Verbruggen, do not take this goal kick because there is a check. There's a VAR check, and I can understand why, Alan.
Well, absolutely, he does get a good strike on it, but there's no doubt about it that Dumfries comes in for the challenge, doesn't get anywhere near the ball, but it's a follow-through.
There's the square. The referee's been called over to have a look, and we know what this means. It's going to be a penalty to England.
There was no contact at all with the ball from Dumfries. He actually collects with Harry. Even more that it's a follow-through. But there's no doubt that he's boots up high, and Harry does get the ball, but he also, with the follow-through, then connects with him.
Matt, as the defender,
I mean, is it hard to see whether he gets a touch of the ball, Dumfries? I don't think he gets a toe on the ball. Therefore, the follow-through of Kane, he does raise his foot and he studs her up, Dumfries, which is why Harry Kane's in so much pain. He's actually struggling to shrug off the knock on the top of his foot. I mean, it's a fair challenge for the ball, and he's a little bit late.
It's a penalty. VAR, the German video assistant referee, in conjunction with Felix Zweier, they've decided it's a spot kick for England. And Kane, who took this knock on his right foot, and I think there was concern from Gareth Southgate. He sent Bukayo Saka, I think, over to see Harry Kane to see if he was all right to take this penalty. What do you think the answer is, Alan?
No, Harry will take the penalty. I think he's up there, and he might have been in some pain, but believe you me, when you get a penalty, that pain wears off.
Yeah. So Harry Kane now.
I think he's just booked Dumfries as well for that, John, which is, I mean, it's pretty harsh. I mean, he's genuinely gone to block the shot. I don't think he's lashed out at Harry Kane. I think he's got a little bit carried away there, the referee.
Well, yellow card for Dumfries, and Virgil van Dijk was in long discussions with referee Zweier. Memphis Depay was getting involved there as well. But here we are, another penalty at Euro 2024, and this time Harry Kane from 12 yards. In front of the England fans, it should be said. This is the north end, where the England fans all are. Kane, the man who scored more penalties for England than anyone else. But remember the miss in the quarter-final in Qatar. Kane stands 1 foot in front of the other and waits and waits. The final, big deep breath, and Kane is up to score! Into the bottom corner. Verbruggen went the right way down to his right, but Harry Kane can celebrate here in Dortmund. He's got his third goal of the tournament, and he's now the joint leading scorer. And it's Netherlands 1, England 1, and down to you, Izzy Christensen.
Unbelievable penalty from Harry Kane. He looks so confident. He controlled every single person in this stadium. He took a big deep breath, and he just slots it into this bottom corner right in front of my eyes. But I was watching Kieran Trippier throughout that whole process. Him and Jude Bellingham were just guarding Harry Kane, keeping him safe from any distractions. He looked so focused. Clean from the penalty spot from Harry Kane.
Really calm, and he hits it to perfection. He has to, because the goalkeeper goes the right way to his right hand side. Having said that, he's not stopping it. Went right in the corner, right in the side netting.
I mean, it doesn't matter how well the goalkeeper dives at that one, does it? He hits it that hard and that low, it sneaks just inside the post at the bottom. Nearly impossible for any keeper to save. Top penalty from Harry Kane.
Netherlands 1, England 1, and England equalising from the penalty spot through Harry Kane's 22nd penalty for England out of the now 66 goals that he has scored for his country. England's record scorer. As the ball goes back to Verbruggen, who went the right way, Alan. He wasn't too far away from it.
No, I would have guessed that he would have gone that way as well, very much like the goalkeeper. But when you hit it as sweetly as that, it's where he wanted to put it. It's where he practices on. The keeper can go wherever he wants. He's not stopping it.
So back on level terms. The Dutch lead lasted for 11 minutes. And with that goal now, Alan, that is 15 for Harry Kane at either World Cup or European Championship tournaments, and he's drawn level at Euros with a certain A. Shearer. 7 goals.
Let's hope he beats it tonight then.
Yeah.
He's had a good start to this game, you know.
He has.
He had the shot from 20 or 25 yards, which the keeper saved. He then had the shot which got the penalty, and then of course the penalty.
So that's the voice of the now joint leading scorer at the Euros for England, Alan Shearer, as Depay miscontrols the ball out of play. Important though for England to make that quick response.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought their response was really good actually after the initial threat from the Dutch, and England just settled themselves down. I think the Dutch will feel hard done by with that penalty, because I agree with Matt, when the defender goes in there was no intent to kick him, and he didn't really make the contact. It was the follow through which Harry Kane generated with his shot.
Here's Foden bringing it forward, gives it to Bellingham. Bellingham just turns, passes it to Trippier, just took a moment to get it under control. Foden wants it, gets it. Now back to Declan Rice, who was just caught out for that opening goal. I think he slipped actually, didn't he, when Simons got the ball and took it away from Cagey. Back in the side tonight for Konza, who's a little unfortunate, Ezri Konza, because he put in such an impressive performance against Switzerland in the quarter-final. But here's Menu now in the pink boots, turns, faces the play, gives it to John Stones, takes it towards the halfway line, and then Stones goes back across to Mark Kane. Brilliant atmosphere inside the ground. I mean, all of the stands, all of the spectators close to the action as Menu chips it over the top for Phil Foden. It bounces away. Trippier's going to leave that to Harry Kane, who's out there on the left-hand side. Kane now with the right foot cross. It's a high one right across the field to Walker, who pulls that down. Tried to lay it back to Menu on the edge of the box, but only succeeded in giving it to Reinders, who will pass it away to Depay. I think might have been given a shove in the back by Kyle Walker, but in any case it's out of play for a throw into the Dutch.
Yeah, he did give him a little shove, didn't he? I didn't know whether the ref was going to give a free kick or at the throw-in for the Dutch, but he's given a throw-in.
It's a proper match, this, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a really good start. I mean, it was a bright start from both teams, but then that fantastic strike from Simons posed the question to England: well, what you got? What are you going to offer?
As the Dutch try to work it away through the middle, but Trippier comes across, a right-footed ball forward towards Bellingham, who's in the centre circle. Bellingham, this his former home as well, remember. Jude Bellingham, Foden, back to Kane, and they'll give it back towards the halfway line. Walker finds Foden. Foden, a little pass in field towards Menu. Kane wants it, but Menu up to the edge of the area, slipped it into Foden. Foden could be through, very tight. Oh, and the shot is blocked on the line, incredibly, by Dumfries. Brilliant footwork from Foden. How he found space in amongst all of that and got the shot in from the tightest of angles, and yet Dumfries right on the line stopped it.
Wow, we're not sure how it hasn't gone in. All of us are looking to the referee to see whether the ball had crossed the line. Menu did really well in getting the ball to Foden, but then Foden's quick feet. He then goes to the goalkeeper and sort of slots it past him.
Saka now left-footed ball. Trippier's got so much space on the left. Trippier's ball all the way across, a stretch and away by De Vrij. The Dutch really stretched there. Now they're trying again, England. There's 2 balls on the field. Walker, yeah, so the referees had to stop play. How on earth did that happen? England, great momentum there. 2 balls on the field.
Well, we've seen 23 minutes of great football. Really encouraged at the way England have come back into this game, the way they're moving the ball around, the way Bellingham and Foden and Menu are controlling now that midfield and creating chances.
Back down pitch side, is he?
Oh, it was a beautiful weave from Foden, wasn't it? How many times have we seen him do that for Manchester City? He just takes on so many players. The way he got the shot off in the end, and it was a brilliant clearance from Dumfries on the line. Everyone behind me obviously thought it'd gone over, but from my angle, I have to be honest, it definitely didn't cross the line. But it was unbelievable from Foden.
It was immediately the referee's via said no, it hasn't crossed the line. We've not had a chance to see it again, and actually I need to see it again because Foden's feet were almost quicker than the human eye. Rice with the pass to Walker on the right-hand side. Now Foden. Menu back to Phil Foden, who, well, after that, goodness me, he certainly looks like he's in the mood to, like the rest of this England side, confound the critics. Walker's ball into the edge of the area. It's 1-1 if you've just switched on. Simons scoring the early goal for the Dutch, and then Harry Kane with a penalty to equalise at the stadium where he's now scored 6 goals in 5 competitive appearances, Harry Kane. Here is Saka, he's able to get the ball and run from 30 yards goalwards. Kane tries to turn, I thought he might have been caught there. Seamans is in there, and Seamans is able to play it back to Verbruggen, who will clear up towards the halfway line, where Rice is underneath that to head it, and it will bounce for Harry Kane, who pulls it down, and Kane sets off on a run, and he's eased over by Dumfries. Referee says no free kick. I think Kane will be questioning that. Oh, but Foden almost in, but De Vrij, he nipped the ball away from Dumfries, and Foden is saying that he was impeded there.
I think he was. I think he definitely clipped the back of his heels. Foden read it really well and managed to nick the ball. But then when he's starting to run towards goal, he just clipped his heels. So it's an impressive last 10 or 15 minutes from England, you know, the way they're moving the ball.
However, here's one for Marlon to chase through the middle. That's headed away by Gay. Now Reinders. Simons gets that down. Might have been a handball. Simons' ball is blocked on the edge of the box by Rice. Comes out to Reinders, who is very neat. Shiny black boots. Sharp side parting. Again, Reinders back out to the right-hand side. Here is the cross that is blocked by Dumfries and bounces out of play off Trippier for a throw over on the far side. Netherlands 1, England 1. I would say, Alan, that's the best period of play that we've seen from England.
Absolutely. I said about moving the ball quicker. That's what we've been watching from Spain for the vast majority of this tournament. For the last 10 or 15 minutes, England have done that.
And just seeing confirmation on our little screen here in the commentary box that the ball was about halfway over the line when it was stopped by Dumfries. Close, but not close enough. And here is Reinders, the number 14. Here's Gakpo, who's hardly been in the match. Gakpo back to Nathan Ake, and now Gakpo once again with his 3 goals. As I say, Harry Kane now joins that group. It's now 6 players who are all tied on 3 goals as the joint top scorers at the tournament, with Harry Kane, much maligned, being one of them. Can't be too bad if you're the joint top scorer at the tournament, can it?
He always will score goals, John. You know that. We all know that. That's why he's in the team. We know that we want a little bit more from him, so maybe off the ball, but the one thing he will guarantee is goals.
Yep, quite so. Here is De Vrij, who just carries it forward, and then Dumfries goes back to De Vrij again through the middle. An attempted flick from Depay. It's blocked away. Then Bellingham's onto this. Bellingham, lovely footwork from him as well. And he releases Saka down the right-hand side. Saka again sticking to the right wing here. He's drawing Nathan Ake into him. Then plays the pass to Menu, who was challenged by Gakpo, but it bounces to Walker. Menu again. Now here's Foden again in that dangerous position. A flick to his left to Bellingham, but then came the challenge, which took it back to goalkeeper Verbruggen.
Yeah, again, but England passing it well. So it's a really interesting battle going down this right-hand side for England. The Dutch left-hand side with Gakpo and Saka, and Saka certainly winning that battle at the minute.
He just switched onto his 5 Live World Service from the BBC. It is Netherlands 1, England 1 in the semi-final with almost half an hour played. Verbruggen, long downfield from him. Mark Gay is underneath that, up against Marlon to head it forward for England. Rice keeps it in over on the left wing, tried to play it infield towards Bellingham. Now it's forward towards Depay, who's got some space here. Rice out of position. Depay then towards the edge of the box to Marlon, who hits the shot, but the defenders came together and Gay put in the block, which deflected it wide of the goal and behind for a Dutch corner, the first corner of the match. Matt.
This lad can run, Marlon. He's got some serious pace on that right-hand side. Every time a central player has the ball, he makes this starting run from out to in. He gets the wrong side of Trippier, but Walker reads it so early, gets across. He actually anticipates it, goes to ground, he just wipes everything out. It's top defended from Kyle Walker, but he's got to be alert to that run. It's a dangerous one for the Dutch.
Well, we know that the Dutch can be a threat from set pieces, most certainly. And Depay took the ball out to the right-hand side, but it's actually going to be taken, this corner, this right-sided corner, by Xavi Simons. Raises his left arm. That noise comes out of the orange wall behind him. An outswinger which is headed onto the top of the crossbar by Dumfries and over the top of the bar. Pickford dived up, whether he had that covered or not, I'm not sure. Hit the top of the bar and over anyway.
Well, they carry a great strength in there, the Dutch, with Van Dijk in there and De Vrij and with Schouten in there, and of course with Dumfries, who actually gets ahead of it. He climbs really well, and I don't think Pickford's getting that.
So 1-1. And England take the goal kick. Pickford out to Mainu. And Mainu, the Manchester United teenager, sets off, gives it to Foden. Now it's over there on the left-hand side to Trippier. And then back to Rice. Gloomy skies above the stadium here in Dortmund. As Mainu flicks it to his right to Walker. Now down the line, Saka again in a very, very wide position. Nathan Ake gets tight on him. So Walker is involved. So is Mainu as well, and England are forced by the Dutch back into their own half. And then actually from Kagey it goes all the way back towards goalkeeper Pickford.
I can't tell you how much I'm enjoying Kobbie Mainoo's performance. I have to say, he looks so confident when he gets the ball. His first touch, he's passing it, he's driving at players. It's been a top performance from him so far.
Here's John Stones carrying the ball forward, lays it out to the left-hand side from the halfway line. Kieran Trippier, who lost here with Newcastle United in the Champions League this season. That was a very impressive Borussia Dortmund performance that night. Here's Foden, then infield towards Mainu. Mainu then picks out Harry Kane, 25 yards out. Kane drives it into the box, cleared away by Van Dijk. Mainu slides in there to win it back for England against Gakpo. Now Saka on the right-hand side, goes for the byline, chips it across the back post. There's no one there. Trippier's trying to get there against Marlon. The two of them shoulder to shoulder. Trippier did well, actually, to get there ahead of the shaven-headed Dutchman. Now Rice again. Rice trying to pick out that pass to his clubmate Saka. It bounces up. Saka's able to chest it down. They've got two men on him now. In it goes towards Foden. They want Foden to shoot, and he hits the post. The top left corner. Just needed a little more bend on it.
Well, it was so similar to Yamal last night, wasn't it? In an identical position. Again, it opens up. He doesn't need a second invitation. He looks and he can see the spot and he spots it, and the connection is great, and he's just watching it all the way, and we're thinking, come on, dip a little bit quicker. It just didn't hit the post and bar.
Izzy, you must have had your eyes on that. It was heading right at you.
Absolutely superb again from Foden. How much joy is he getting, by the way, off that right-hand side coming in? And it opened up perfectly for him. And the strike, I mean, I thought it was nestling in that. It was a superb strike. You could feel the noise from behind with the England fans urging him to shoot as soon as it opened up. Wonderful effort from him.
So Foden strikes the frame of the goal again. I think that's the second time at the tournament. Had the ball in the net for offside, ruled out for offside. He's getting closer, Alan.
He's playing well. I think they're certainly causing the Dutch problems in there with Mainu and Foden and Bellingham with their movement in there. They're trying to get in the hole, and Van Dijk doesn't really know whether to go in tight on Mainu on that occasion there, or sit and try and mark Harry Kane. They're getting joy in there.
1-1 the score. Here is Foden through the middle. He's leaned into by Reinders. The referee says play on. Mainu's able to take it on. He's up against Van Dijk, and he chips it forward for Kane, but Kane was on his heels, and the ball runs through to Verbruggen. And with Foden, Depay is actually sitting down in the middle of the field, so the referee will stop play for a moment or two with the score. Netherlands 1, England 1. But for Phil Foden, after the season that he's had, with the 27 goals that he scored for Manchester City and the 11 assists, he's also had the attempt that was stopped on the line here. So he's hit the frame of the goal twice. He's had the ball in the net at the tournament, ruled out for offside, and he's had one stopped on the line. Yeah,
he's looked really sharp tonight, much more like Phil Foden. He's getting the ball in really tight positions and turning and running towards that Dutch defence, and he's really, really unlucky there with that effort. What a great strike it was.
Well, he's got the ability now, hasn't he, to pick, the freedom to pick the ball up in that area where you want it. He's on the right-hand side, which suits him, gets it out of his feet, that left foot curler, and it's just a brilliant hit, but not quite there, and he's just picking up. You can tell he's enjoying being on the pitch more in this role than out wide on the left.
Alan, what's your gut feeling about what we've seen so far here tonight?
I'm really encouraged. I think there's been an energy about their performance, particularly the way they've responded after going 1-0 down. They've certainly had that in their game. Their passing's been crisper, it's been quicker, and they've created chances. So yeah, I'm very encouraged.
So 1-1 after Siemens opened the scoring in the 7th minute, and Harry Kane with the equaliser from the penalty spot. Harry Kane, who has now scored 15 goals in his last 19 England appearances, and the Dutch are going to make a change now. Is this? Well, it's going to be Memphis Depay, who's not going to be able to continue. So Joey Veerman of PSV, the Dutch champions, is going to come on into that midfield. So he's taken off Depay. Looks like Marlon's going to go through the middle for the time being. And Ronald Koeman is putting Veerman in there with Reinders and Schouten. So a sort of three-man central midfield, which they have played during the course of the tournament. But, you know, that's clearly a reaction, despite the injury to Memphis Depay, that's clearly a reaction to the way the game is going, the flow of the game. As England have it on the edge of their own penalty area, and Trippier plays it back to Pickford. So that's it for Memphis Depay. Disappointing for it to end for him after, 35 minutes on the clock. Here's Mark Gay for England on the left-hand side. It's the England fans making themselves heard now. They sense, they know that it is England who are on top, despite the fact they went behind in this match. Stones just carries the ball into Dutch territory, drags it back. He's looking for the options, goes back to Rice, who quickly works it to Mark Gay, and he is going to bring the ball forward and give it to Jude Bellingham. And Bellingham now gets his head down and begins to glide out towards the left-hand side, where Trippier will return it to the Real Madrid man. And now Gay and Declan Rice. And here is Walker in the centre circle. Kyle Walker winning his 89th cap tonight, so that's as many as Michael Owen for Kyle Walker. Rice to the left-hand side. And Mark Gay is actually going to carry the ball deep into Dutch territory, and he gives it to Bellingham. And Bellingham now turns back onto his left foot, but uses his right to play it behind Trippier, and he's caught late there, or at least he made it look like he'd been caught late, Bellingham, but the referee was having none of that, and it's out for a throw.
I think what he's done as well, he's put Simons on the right-hand side and put Veerman in the middle there, just to try and shore that midfield up, because England were having so much success in there, as I said, with Foden, Bellingham and with Mainu.
Yeah, they started with this midfield three against Austria in the group when they lost the match. But it is Gakpo now for the Dutch. Gakpo, but Mainu slides in to cut that pass out. And Simons was an option there. And actually Declan Rice is going to run away with the ball for England. Just gives it to Bellingham to his left. England still inside their own half. Foden. Crossfield pass from him, which bounces up. Saka's able to get it down on the ground. That mention of that defeat to Austria does remind you that the Dutch did finish third in their group, yet are in the semi-finals, and received a good deal of criticism for not doing better than that. But they did recover in the knockout stages with the convincing win against Romania and the come-from-behind win against Turkey. And my Dutch friends are telling me that Koeman's team are very adept at coming from behind. Here is Mainu, picks out a pass, that's stuck to Foden's right boot like the proverbial glue. Foden, though, has Reinders right there with him, so Mainu, then back to Foden again, who's seen lots and lots of the ball in these opening 37 minutes and a little bit more. Rice again, the match level at all square. Rice will just knock it across into the path of John Stones, and then Stones back towards Declan Rice, and then out on the left-hand side, Phil Foden again, who's stayed out there for the time being. Foden leaves it to Trippier. Kane comes short. There's no one inside the penalty area for England, so actually they go all the way back to Gay, who's got the ball halfway inside his own half, and Pickford will actually say to Gay, no, just let it run. And so it's out to Stones, who goes for the crossfield pass. And Trippier again is all on his own out there. Dumfries standing well off him. Foden says, give it to me. And then Foden runs towards the edge of the penalty area. Mainu over the top to Walker. Walker chests it down, but had to twist to do so. Walker's got it right side of the box. Gakpo with him. Back to Mainu. Mainu puts his foot on it. The flick infield towards Foden. On his left foot, Foden. Oh, shot! And Verbruggen goes down and makes the save. Actually just stops it and then holds onto it down to his right.
They're playing some really good football, England. The movement is fantastic. They can't handle it at the moment, the Dutch, and the pace of the passing. When someone gets into our area, they're actually firing the ball into them with great confidence. Phil Foden is really enjoying himself out there.
I think Mainu is as well, isn't he? Unbelievable stuff from Kobbie Mainoo. Clever, he's winning tackles, he's turning over the ball, he's driving with it. Lovely little flick there just to slip Foden in to get his shot off. I mean, he's been outstanding, the young Manchester United central midfield player.
Yes, when you see him playing like this, in a match like this, I mean, it's a little bit like Lamine Yamal last night as a teenager, as a 16-year-old, but Menu at 19. You wonder why we had that debate for such a long time about who would play alongside Rice. But a long pass forward for the Dutch, but it's headed down by John Stones, and England can start again. Rice makes himself available. Foden wants it in the centre circle, he's calling for it. Still Rice says, yeah, I'll give it to you. But then back to Kagey in central defence. Yeah, at the tournament, England obviously tried Trent Alexander-Arnold in there, then it was Gallagher next, and then it was Menu. But he's certainly catching the eye tonight, the Manchester United man. Here's Kagey, back towards Harry Kane, who's all the way in the centre circle now. Back towards John Stones. Kane says, yep, I'll take it. And then Kane hits a pass, right-footed. That's for Trippier to chase. Trippier with the flick. Back to Bellingham. Bellingham is onto this ball. Trippier makes himself available out wider to the left-hand side. Now it's back to Kane again. Kane curls it into the box. That's headed away by Van Dijk. Menu tries to get there. He does get there. He dispossesses Gakpo. And then Menu blasts the shot straight into the chest of Nathan Ake. And it bounces out of play for a throw down the right.
No, he's so bright and so alert, Menu. I'll tell you what, you mentioned before, Matt, we didn't mention the great tackle he put in on the edge of his own box. He's now at the other side, having a pop-it goal from 18 yards out as well.
So it's a throw for England that Walker is going to take. Walker takes the throw down into the ground, bounces up, and as it was played forward, Menu was in an offside position, but actually the referee says, I'm going to play the advantage here because the Dutch are coming forward, although Simon's actually played it back towards the edge of his own penalty area. We've got quite a mix in front of us. The orange wall is to the left behind the goal, but there's a real mix of Dutch and English fans down in front of us. As Simons plays it to the right, but he's got too much on that and it just rolls out of play for an England throw. I can see a woman down there just adjusting her, it's probably an airline pilot's hat. Bright orange, glitter on the front of it and on the peak of the cap. She's got it set at a jaunty angle, I notice.
What, you're going to say something else for a moment there, John?
Well,
she was actually about half an hour before we kicked off carrying 6 pints down and off the B1.
No wonder it's at a jaunty angle then, Alan. Here is Kane. He's got the ball inside his own half, just clips it across into the path of Walker. Gareth Southgate just appears in that cream shirt down there and applauds the intent of the England players. And for all of the good play and all of the near things that England have had in this first half, there is just the penalty to show from it. And in an absolutely ideal world, when they're playing like this in the first half, I'm sure Southgate and all England followers would like to see them ahead before the break. Walker back towards Rice. Rice just sticks out his chest, uses Jude Bellingham, who will tap it back to John Stones. Menu in a very advanced position now, actually wanted the ball from Stones, but here's Foden, who takes it up on the right-hand side and then moves infield, gives it back to Stones, then over the halfway line to Rice. Bellingham says that he wants it. Actually, it goes to Gay, then back to Rice again. There's a much better tempo about the England play, as we so often say. For England, these players, you do feel that moving the ball quickly is so important. Rice back out to Gay on the left-hand side. Trippier. Bellingham makes the run down into the full-back position. He's leaned into by De Vrij, keeps his feet. Bellingham then wins the ball back. Bellingham now whips it into the box, but Van Dijk is able to step forward and clear it away to the halfway line. Good again. Good running in behind from Bellingham.
I think they're really controlling the midfield in there, and their movement is causing them all sorts of problems.
Kyle Walker now it is, just Foden right of the centre circle. Suddenly we get a cooler breeze just blowing around the stadium, and a pinky sunset as well on those dark clouds above the yellow metalwork of this famous arena. Here is Declan Rice now. Rice through the middle to Foden. Foden with a scamper. Now Bellingham turns near the corner of the penalty area, gives it out to the left-hand side. Trippier is there. Trippier's ball across, that is just intercepted, but England back in possession. Again, it's Declan Rice, 30 yards from goal. England trying to crank up the pressure. The Dutch lying behind the ball. Bellingham again out there on the left-hand side, up against Reinders. Takes him on, drops the shoulder, goes back towards the byline, then pulls it back to Trippier. Then Rice makes himself available. It's coming square to Walker. It's coming square again to Kane. There's only Kane out there, so he has to chase after it, the England captain. Kane onto this, angles the ball back to Bukayo Saka, just outside the right corner of the penalty area. Walker makes the run. Saka, though, keeps possession. takes it on past Veerman. Veerman still going with him. Saka then over to Bellingham. Now Trippier on the overlap. Trippier across, but into the gloves of Verbruggen, who makes the catch.
That's just what you lose with not having the left footer on the left side in Kieran Trippier, because about 30 seconds before that there was a ball that was crying out to be put in with the left foot, but he didn't. He chose to come back inside, but then the ball eventually goes back out to him, and rather than actually whip it across, he tries to chip it straight into the keeper's arms.
Now the Dutch come forward, a rare attack for them, and it's being brought forward over just in front of us by Veerman. 3 minutes of added time at the end of the first half, and then Schouten back to Reinders, and the pace just slows with the Dutch in possession. 1-1 is the score. Here's Nathan Ake on the left-hand side. The threat is there, certainly from the set piece. Remember the Dumfries header that came off the top of the crossbar, but the Dutch just knocking it around in the central third, probably just enjoying a feel of the ball and some possession. Actually, we haven't seen this for some time in the match. So Veerman will use the captain, Virgil van Dijk, and then Van Dijk just with the ball back towards the goalkeeper for Brugge. Half-time approaching. We'll have more on the events at Lords in the first test match special. Will be back on air in the morning on 5 Live Sports Extra, with England having a dominant day. And on the subject of England, the rugby union team, you'll be able to hear the commentary live from Eden Park on the second test, live from New Zealand on Saturday morning, and a rugby union daily podcast all this week with Chris Jones in New Zealand. Here is Simons for the Dutch, giving it out to Ake on the left hand side. Nathan Ake hair bobbing behind him. Siemens, who set the ball rolling, really. I think the goal that he scored almost helped to set the tone for the first half. Such a good finish that it was. Reinders back to De Vrij, and now Marlon out to the right. It goes to Dumfries with Trippier in front of him. Probably the longest spell of possession that we've seen from the Dutch in the match so far, with still 90 seconds of the first 45 minutes to play, 45 minutes plus. Here's Dumfries up against Trippier, who steps in, puts in the challenge, and then once again it is the Dutch who go back to De Vrij, and Van Dijk, hair tied up tightly at the back of his head, the Liverpool captain, and then Reinders back to De Vrij again. Into the last minute of added time at the end of the first half. I'm not sure the Dutch are actually going to go anywhere with this. Let's see as they play it forward to Simons, who's here on the left flank. Nathan Ake is there as well. Simons with a little flick with the outside of his heel to Ake. Ake wants it back. Siemens curls it to him. Ake in with the challenge. Walker as well. And then Walker does well. Ball still in play though. Walker had to be very careful there. Gakpo plays it back towards the ball into the penalty area. A glance on from Ake, but that will drop beyond the far post and wide. And it's a goal kick. And it remains 1-1. Alan Shearer.
It was a good spell of possession for the Dutch one. They just moved it from right to left and then back to left to right. And then they eventually saw the opening and did really well to keep the ball in, and the ball's then whipped into Ake, who just got too much on it, didn't he? Then it was no problem, just let it go out for the goal kick, and I would imagine that'll be half time then.
Yeah, Matt, a nice little tussle there right from off that plush Manchester City training ground. Walker and Ake.
I'm surprised he kept it in, actually. He did really well to get his leg round and keep the ball in play.
And there we have it, half time in the semi-final. Netherlands 1, England 1, as a great orange wave of people rise to their feet in front of us, and I feel, and he's holding up his blazer as well with the Dutch lion on it. And somebody's given you a bit of stick, Alan. But short thoughts on the first half?
Very encouraged, very promising from England. I think their energy has been much better, their pressing's been really good, and they've created some really good chances which we haven't seen in the previous game. So yeah, I'm happy.
Yes, extremely happy for me. I thought it was a top performance. Players that have shown up. We're talking about players like Foden. We're talking about Harry Kane. We're not talking. Mark Gahey's been exceptional. He's been real focus of the early games. But really, you want to be talking about the players up that end of the pitch performing. And I think there's 2 or 3 names there that have just been excellent. Saka's been excellent. Drove it right from the off. And Kobe Mainoo for me. Wow, what a first 45 minutes he's had.
So half time here in Dortmund. Xavi Simons gave Netherlands the lead. Harry Kane equalised with the penalty, and it is Netherlands 1, England 1 at the break.
I mean, the first thing to say is I'm not sure who you fly with if you think that's an airline pilot's hat. Village People Airways. Let's go down to Izzy Christian.
You've been thinking about that, haven't you, since I mentioned it.
Izzy Christiansen, Peterside. That's England's best 45 minutes of this tournament.
Oh, yeah, there was some fantastic football being played there by England. I mean, they were zipping the ball around, they were piercing through the Dutch defence in the middle of it when it was the right time. Foden's come to life. He's been an absolute joy to watch. It's like he's wearing a Man City shirt again. And you've also got to give credit to the Dutch, because I think John just said it there in commentary. They set the tempo for the game, and they brought that side out of England because they conceded so early on to that fantastic goal by Xavi Simons. But I think England, the fact that we've not mentioned Cody Gakpo is a massive plus, and I think Alan's also just mentioned it there. I was thinking the same. He must have read my mind. This game is crying out for Luke Shaw. Trippy's been fine. He's been absolutely fine, but the amount of crossing opportunities that we're missing, and Bellingham going out there, get himself in the box, get Harry Kane inside the box and get the ball whipped in.
England's right side, Matt, as you mentioned, have bossed this, and we've seen, I think in previous games, we've seen evidence of a partnership between Foden and Mainu when they are in a similar area of the field. You can see it tenfold tonight.
He's fed him the ball a lot, I have to say. That they seem to be on a little wavelength. Whether or not it's this side of the pitch, Jude Bellingham tends to peel out to the left a little bit, but Foden, who's sitting more central and to the right, every time Mainu drives forward with the ball, he seems to make a little run in. When he slipped him in for his quick feet, and really the ball was, I thought it was in. It was bang on the middle of the centre of the line. Such a great chance to create it, but between them they've linked up probably 3 or 4 times in this first half to really good effect.
He has an amazing awareness, Mainu, doesn't he, of when to give it and when to run with it. And there was an example earlier in the first half, it may have been even before the England goal, where he turned inside his own box and let the ball come across in Mainu and moved 20 yards with it and took the Dutch press out of it.
Yeah, he's aware of everything around him, you know, and what's also impressive is not when he passes, but how he passes it, with the pace on it, so it enables to get there. Because I said it last night on TV about the Spanish, what they do very well is they move it quickly, but they move it with pace, and when someone pings a ball into you as a player with pace, it's far easier to control. He's been brilliant at that in the first half. He's got a kind of casual style as well, hasn't he? He's got this relaxed body language that he looks nothing is phased. I mean, you wouldn't know that he had any tension or felt nervous at all. He's got this lovely relaxed style, but super powerful when he's on the ball.
If the Dutch had got a penalty from that challenge, do you think you would be
fuming,
aggrieved about it? And also from that defender's point of view, where he kind of just went, I mean, he sort of went to block it, not challenge it.
Kane kicked him, and I know he's got his foot up, right, so you leave yourself vulnerable, but Harry Kane's follow-through has volleyed his boot. I'm not sure they look at that in the Premier League and overturn that. I think if you give it either way, you'd be happy, but I don't think VAR needs to look at that and interfere with the on-field decision. It was one of them for me where just the referee could call it either way, you'd accept it, but he called it as no penalty. Stay out of it. I think it's harsh to then pull it to pieces on a slow-mo and then give a foul and a yellow card was ridiculous. Look, there's no doubt that there's contact, but the contact isn't made from the defender. He's actually trying to block the ball and putting his foot up, which he has to do. The follow-through from Harry, because of the strike, makes the connection. I didn't think that was an absolute howler for it to be turned over. No.
Alan, do you think Harry Kane's played the dark arts a bit there with his reaction?
Well, do you know what,
he's got up. I mean, I'm not complaining one little bit, but he's got up and he's taken the penalty, so he's okay, isn't he?
I was going to ask you that, because you will have had eyes on him all the way through that, because he was very near you, and he hobbled and he hobbled and he hobbled all the way through the referee going to the screen, and by the time he'd done the square, he had the ball on the spot.
Yeah, but that's fine. He might have hurt his foot. I mean, there was connection, but the connection was through no fault of the defenders. Yeah. He's just gone to block the ball. The connection was because of the follow-through. So he might have hurt his boot, but I think it's a harsh decision in turning that over.
I think they're a bit naughty them sometimes when you do kick the bottom of someone's studs. It can be quite painful. maybe there was a little element of I'll ham it up a little bit, because he did stay down for quite a while. But the review took some time, didn't it? I mean, it was a long old review to have a look at.
1-1 here in Dortmund then. Netherlands 1, England 1. Interestingly, on the pitch down below there is one England sub warming up, and that is Luke Shaw. We will see if he comes on for the second half, but at 8:55, let's get the latest BBC News. Here's Jill McKenzie.
The voice of the UK.
And the home of the Euros and Wimbledon.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Police have found the man suspected of killing 3 women in Hertfordshire last night. The victims are the family of BBC 5 Live's racing commentator John Hunt. His wife Carol and 2 of their daughters, Hannah and Louise, were found with serious injuries at a house in Bushey and couldn't be saved. 26-year-old Kyle Clifford was captured in Enfield in North London this afternoon and is now receiving medical treatment. Hertfordshire police say no shots were fired by officers. World leaders, including Sir Keir Starmer, are attending the second day of the NATO summit in Washington. The US says it started transferring F-16 fighter planes to Ukraine. President Zelensky says the aircraft will bring a lasting peace closer. And President Biden has again said that he'll stay in the presidential race after George Clooney said he should stand down. The actor is a long-standing Democratic donor and supporter, but said the party can't win the election with Joe Biden as its candidate.
As we know, Jimmy will be hanging up his spikes. We wanted to mark this with a proper, sit-down, meticulously researched and planned interview with Jimmy. Machin, are you up for it? Tailenders. We've had Frost Nixon.
We have had that.
We present to you Tendulkar Anderson.
Looking back now, Jimmy, what has cricket given you? Apart from this house.
I've had the most amazing time. I've played at pretty much every ground in the world. It's been a phenomenal journey.
Anderson round the wicket, balls. Oh,
Tailenders. Listen now on BBC Sounds.
This is 5 Live Sports.
With Mark Chapman.
Euro 2024 Deutschland.
1-1 here at half-time in Dortmund between England and the Netherlands. Luke Shaw continuing to warm up, the only England sub who is out there warming up at the moment. Let's focus on the first test at Lord's. England closed the opening day on 189 for 3, so that's already enough for a lead of 68 over the West Indies. Jimmy Anderson, playing his last test match, got the final wicket of the tourist innings. They were bowled out for just 121, but it was fellow fast bowler and debutant Gus Atkinson who took 7 for 45 to grab the headlines.
It was pretty special. I obviously nerves this morning, but once I got that first wicket out of the way, could sort of go from there, and it went pretty well.
What was your plan for that opening over, given that you took a wicket with your second delivery in Test cricket?
Just to get it down there in a good area. Got the wicket. It wasn't exactly where I wanted to bowl it, but it came off well, so can't complain.
And what was the feeling at the point you got your first Test wicket?
A bit of relief, to be honest. Nice to get the first one out of the way quickly, so yeah, as I said, relief, and then went from there.
Here are some more details on the opening day with former England captain Michael Vaughan and Jonathan Agnew.
Close of play the first day, and England very much in control of this first Test match. They lead West Indies by 68. They're 189 for 3, having bundled West Indies out for 121. At lunch, they were 61 for 3. They lost 7 for 60 after lunch, including 6 for 18 at one stage and 4 wickets with a score on 88. A bit of a disaster there, as Atkinson in his first Test match took 3 wickets in 1 over. He got his first wicket in Test cricket with just his second ball, a loose shot from Brathwaite, the West Indian captain. He chopped the ball into his stumps, and that got Atkinson away. He finishes 7 for 45, the second best England figures ever by a debutant, and the best in the first innings. And Jimmy Anderson really reduced to the role of an admiring onlooker at mid-on. He took 1 for 26, that was the number 11 from 10.4 overs. Wicket for Wokes, who actually bowled rather better than that. 11 overs, 1 for 29. He beat the bat a lot, moved the ball around. Ben Stokes actually was encouraging too. He found some swing. He took 1 for 14. There were some terrific catches in there. Harry Brooks to dismiss Louis on his debut for 27. A wonderful catch at third slip. And then Ollie Pope as well to catch Hodge at backward point off Wokes. I mentioned bowled really well. Probably the worst ball he bowled all day. Cut hard, should have gone for 4, and Pope took a superb catch. So for England, Duckett fell cheaply for 3, Crawley 76, Pope 57, and at the close Route 15, Brook 25 will come back tomorrow for some more of the lead on 68. Michael, your summation of what you've seen today.
That's a perfect day from an England perspective. I mean, Ben Stokes won the toss. No surprise that he decided to bowl first. The West Indies made quite a good start. It was nervy, wasn't it? Jimmy Anderson, obviously in his last game, you could tell that there was a little bit of nerves around, and West Indies made a good start. And then suddenly, when they started to lose one or two, you could see the inexperience. You could see the lack of game time required to play in these conditions. And I will say that, if we want the West Indies and these teams that come to the UK to compete, they're not at the standard of what we see from an England side in these conditions. Obviously, I just think they've got to have more game time.
Agreed.
I just look at that game they played last week. It was against a first-class a lot of young, talented players. Just one game. You look at Shamar, and it's not down to the bowlers today. The batters let the West Indies down. To be bowled out for 121 on that surface, Gus Atkinson, absolutely magnificent. But I just look at the preparation of this West Indian side and think, couldn't you have come an extra week, and couldn't you have given your players 2 games at least to get ready for these kind of conditions against the quality that they're going to be up against in the next few weeks? They probably will get better over the course of this Test match series. But, we really want the West Indies and these sides that come to these shores, Sri Lanka in a few weeks' time, to really be competitive and give us a spectacle.
It's time schedule with the Caribbean T20. They want the players back for that. I mean, all these things had to be crammed in.
I just feel sorry for the players that they just don't seem to get the right preparation for the conditions that they're going to go and play in. We want to see England do very well, but we also want to see a contest. And I don't like seeing it. It's been great to see Gus Atkinson on debut. He looks the real deal. He bowled great. But I don't like seeing days like we've seen today, where it just looks so one-sided, and we arrive now on day 2, which pretty much, let's be honest, we know the result of the Test match already, and it was just down to the ball didn't do a great deal. It did just enough, and it was down to, if you can say to me there was a genuine Jaffa that was bowled today that a West Indian batter couldn't do anything about, I haven't seen it. I just saw mistake after mistake after mistake. And you have to say that this West Indies side just look ill-prepared to play in these conditions against the quality that they're up against.
Michael Vaughan and Jonathan Agnew, plenty more on the TMS pod on BBC Sounds, and the team back on air from Lords at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning on Sports Extra. The team at Wimbledon back on air at 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon here on 5 Live. Both sets of substitutes now warming up here in Dortmund, although Matt Upson's been keeping a specific eye on Luke Shaw in his warm-up, and look, he's being taped up at the moment. He's coming on, but even based on the warm-up, you said that's someone who's coming on at half-time.
Proper warm-up. Lots of sprints, lots of change of directions, movement at the ball, one-on-one with one of the trainers. That is I'm coming on to play warm-up, and I think he's just getting sorted now.
It's an aggressive. I mean, actually, it looks like Wout Weghorst is coming on for the Dutch as well. But from the England point of view, Alan, that's an aggressive substitution. That's like we can do this in 90 minutes here with a bit more width on the left.
Yeah, it's a positive substitute, because there was 2 or 3 times when Kieran Trippier got out there and the ball should have come in. It should have come in quickly, but because he was reluctant to use his left foot, he came back on his right, and then they went pass over to the right hand side. On the one occasion where he did try to cross it with a left foot, it goes straight into the goalkeeper's hand. So you're absolutely right, it's a positive substitution.
I mean, as a centre forward, there's nothing more frustrating when you've got a great crossing opportunity. You're in the box and it's not getting delivered. I mean, you pull your hair out, wouldn't you?
If I hadn't.
And the other thing, just from the Dutch point of view, Izzy Christensen, is that Wout Weghorst changes things for them, as we have seen in previous games.
He's so effective at what he does. It'd be interesting to see who he stands on. If he stands on Kagey or Stones, or whether he mixes and matches depending on where the ball is. But he's a threat and he knows what he's doing. And when the ball's lumped into the box, he's so intelligent with the way he nods it down into space for his teammates to run onto. So that is something we definitely have to keep an eye on.
Right, John Murray, all yours.
Thanks, Mark. So Weghorst is on for Marlon. So Marlon's taken off, Matt. Surprised by that?
I am surprised, because you'd feel that Marlon's almost the perfect foil to be running off of Weghorst with his pace. I mean, he's put a lot of energy into that first half, but it's an interesting tack. They really did look like they'd ran out of a little bit of attacking ideas in that passage of play towards the end of the first half. So it doesn't surprise me that Koeman's made a change up top.
And so Wout Weghorst, the Burnley man, Well, I'm not sure we'll see him play for Burnley again, but he's on loan here in Germany with Hoffenheim this season. He is on. He's come on as a substitute in every game, and indeed he came on at half-time in the last match in the quarter-final against Turkey when the Dutch came from behind. And yes, Luke Shaw is on for his 33rd cap after coming on in the 78th minute in the quarter-final against Switzerland. Now he is on at half-time, and as both Alan Shearer and Matt Upson and Izzy Christiansen down behind the goal have said, it feels like a positive move. The second half begins here under darkening skies. Netherlands won, England won. England in the second half attacking from right to left, so they're attacking towards the mass of orange in the stands here, over 60,000 people, and the majority, I think, are Dutch supporters. Lots of empty seats still at the start of the second half as John Stones is hacked down by Weghorst.
I think what you're also seeing is Bellingham is playing more on the left-hand side as well, which has then given them more space in that middle for, like we saw in the first half, in Mainoo and Phil Foden. So you'll see a switch, I've no doubt, from playing a 3 and then playing a 4 at the back with Luke Shaw. I know he's in the forward position at the moment, but he could also play in the 4 as well, which will free someone else up further forward.
This is 5 Live, BBC Sounds, BBC World Service are with us as well. Welcome to you wherever you're listening on what is actually a very pleasant night now. It's a little coolish tinge in the air here, dry at the moment. Mainoo, very impressive in the first half, plays the ball forward, but it's blocked out of play for a throw into England halfway inside their own half. So the Netherlands now, Verbruggen in goal, still the same back four, Dumfries, De Vrij, Van Dijk and Ake. And then in midfield, Schouten, Reinders and Veerman. And then Siemens, Weghorst and Gakpo it is now. And Ronald Koeman's used 2 of his substitutes. And England with Pickford in goal, Walker, Stones and Gay, Saka and Shaw in the wide areas, Mainoo and Rice in the middle, Foden, Bellingham and Kane. That was Gareth Southgate's first change of the night. Here is Luke Shaw into the action, having not played since the middle of February. Shaw clips one forward for Bellingham to chase. De Vrij has gone with him, and the ball is bouncing through off the England man for a goal kick to the Dutch, and a huge cheer from all of those people behind that goal.
I don't mind that though. At least the defender's running towards his own goal. We haven't seen enough of that in the previous games. It's good to see.
So a goal kick that will be tapped square by Van Dijk to Verbruggen, and then Virgil van Dijk takes it away. And the ball is hit forward for the Dutch, but that will just bounce all the way through to Pickford. You're thinking that they've gone to a 3?
I think they've gone. England have gone, I think, more to a 4 at the back, which have certainly pushed Saka into a really wide forward position, and Bellingham's come to the left of Harry Kane.
Yeah, here is Gay with the ball in his back, just taps it forward towards Rice, and then across it goes to John Stones again. Stones has been closed down by Weghorst. Stones gave him a right glare when Weghorst put in that early challenge on Stones. Weghorst, before the match, came out. He was the first man out, the Dutch players. He went straight to the orange wall. He was leading the cheering as the ball is thrown forward for Saka. Saka pulls it back across the penalty area, but it lands for Schouten, who's able to play it away up to Weghorst, who's come back into his own half. Simons actually was caught out of position, but then he was caught the wrong side of the ball, but then Shaw put in the challenge, tugged him over, and it's a free kick to the Dutch.
I don't think any of the England players thought or expected Saka to get that ball, because none of them attacked it into the box. He did really well in keeping it in and pulling it back towards the penalty spot.
So the Dutch take their quick free kick, and here is Dumfries, who hit the post, the top of the post with a header from a corner in the first half, and then De Vrij, as the Ruud Gullit lookalike, just walks past us, remarkably like Ruud Gullit. Here is Schouten now to Siemens on the right-hand side. Shaw is able to intercept that pass. Bellingham gives it back to Luke Shaw. England in the white shirts, blue shorts and white socks tonight. Rice still deep inside his own half, wins a throw-in off Dumfries.
I think you can buy those wigs down there, John, those Ruud Gullit ones.
Yeah, but he had the moustache as well.
Yeah, it might be a nice little addition at some point. Yeah.
Do you think so? Do you think it's come to that stage? Alan?
You and Al.
We'll get two for the price of one, John.
Yeah. Not sure I could see Alan Shearer in a Ruud Gullit wig, given the history. Although that's a long way in the past, isn't it?
We're all right now, we're fine.
Yeah. Netherlands 1, England 1. And orange splashed all around the stands here in Dortmund. Floodlights taking effect. Mark Gay now with the ball at his feet. Harry Kane comes short. Harry Kane equalising in the first half with his 66th goal for England. Long and forward from Gay, looking for the run of Luke Shaw, but that's dealt with by the head of Dumfries. And then Schouten infield, Rice is chasing. Mainu gets a header forward. Foden stretching for it, and then Foden is adjudged. He's actually in an offside position, so it's a free kick to the Dutch half inside their own half. Not quite had the flow in the second half, and those changes that Ronald Koeman has made, you know, they were given at times a little bit of a chasing by England in the first half. So it's a tactical response by the wily Ronald Koeman in his second spell as coach in the Netherlands side. And getting to the semi-finals means, as he was gleefully pointing out himself, that a clause in his contract has been triggered, which means that he'll be coach until 2026 in the World Cup in North America, North and Central America. Here's Dumfries, left-footed ball forward to Weghorst. Stones allowed it to bounce into him, but Stones takes it away, had to be quick there, then was clipped by Reinders, but kept his feet, and John Stones still with the ball, goes back towards the edge of the penalty area. Stones, such an important man for Gareth Southgate over these 4 tournaments, started every single match. World Cup, Euros, World Cup, Euros, and here they are again, England in the semi-final. Walker in the semi-final 3 years ago at the Euros. Remember, England went behind in that match as well to that excellent free kick from Damsgaard, and eventually against the Danes won it in extra time when Harry Kane scored from the penalty that was saved by Kasper Schmeichel. Here's Rice. Then back to Rice again from Shaw. That semi-final victory, England's first tournament semi-final victory since 1966. Rice across to Gay. England in possession, enjoying the possession. Walker, then out to Saka on the right-hand side. Saka again, very, very wide, noticeably wide. Nathan Ake goes with him, so the pass is back to Mark Gay, who will pick out Bellingham. Dropped a little deeper there. Bellingham receives it and then sets off, plays the ball infield towards Foden. Foden trying to find a position, gives it to Shaw. Shaw's ball across, that's blocked by Dumfries, out of play for a throw. Nice interplay from Foden, Bellingham, Shaw.
That's where you want to get Luke Shaw. We said about the left foot, he tries to put it in first time, but it's just blocked.
Yeah, but it makes England look almost totally different in terms of the balance, and we've been talking about that all tournament. Here's Rice, now to Foden again, who is over here to the left-hand side, goes back into the England half. Rice, the England supporters getting their opportunity to pick out the Dutch fans. Kane bounces to Weghorst, and now Reinders will bring that forward. He was tugged back there by Rice. Reinders, though, kept his feet, played it forward to Simons. Simons, the man who scored the opening goal in this semi-final, is up against Mainu, who puts in the challenge. Comes back to Reinders. Reinders then passes between Dumfries and Simons, and the three of them have a right go at each other. Out of play for a throw.
Well, Weghorst wants the ball in early, that's what he demands, and then Simons tries to go around Gahey, but there's just no way around him.
So it's a throw into England. Weghorst certainly is a presence, isn't he? 6'6". He also, we noticed, had an absolutely massive earring hanging off his right lobe. It's like something out of Pirates of the Caribbean. Throw-in that Shaw is going to take. Shaw up to Kane, but it's headed forward by De Vrij. Chested down by Luke Shaw and volleyed forward. Bellingham brings that down. Koeman says that was a handball. The referee didn't see it. And then Mainu receives it in a very tight area here. Simons puts in the challenge, and Kobbie Mainu knocks it down the line, but he can't keep it in. It rolls away, and it's a throw-in to the Dutch halfway inside their own half. The score's still 1-1. Matt Upson.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, I think England are close to near 60% possession in this game, which tells you how well we have played. I mean, we've been a different animal with the ball. You know, the confidence, the way the players are zipping it around. The change in formation has had an impact, you feel. I mean, it is balanced with Luke Shaw, but it hasn't quite got that fluency of the first half. But the Dutch are really sitting in. I mean, unless there's a breakaway or a set piece, you know, that for me is the only way they can be a threat at the moment.
So it is Dumfries who will just knock the ball back to De Vrij on the edge of his penalty area. And indeed all the way back to Verbruggen, who's made a couple of decent saves. Good save from Harry Kane in the early stages. Kept out Phil Foden as well. Foden hit the post, had a ball stopped on the line as well after a brilliant piece of play. The highlights of this tonight, by the way, on BBC One after the news, or you can watch it anytime on the iPlayer. Hope you've been enjoying all of our coverage from here in Germany of the Euros across the various BBC platforms. And here's Rice just in front of where Gareth Southgate is watching. Ball is just touched out of play for a throw-in that Luke Shaw will take back to Mark Gay, who gets it down. All of the reaction to whatever happens on the Football Daily at the Euros. Wayne Rooney's Euro 2004 on there as well. Here is Gay across the Stones, now to the right-hand side to Walker with a long pass that Ake gets his thigh to. Kane in on the challenge, and Ake just kept possession and then used De Vrij on the edge of the box. Dumfries as England press them in there, but up it goes towards Weghorst. John Stones with his hands in the back of the big man, but Weghorst does well. Siemens then curls it forward, but Shaw is able to pass it, and then John Stones takes it up again.
Yeah, it was good hold-up play from Weghorst. That's one of the reasons why he's brought in into the game. But there's not enough runners that were going in behind, and England had it covered. They've certainly had more possession without carrying that threat that they had in the first half.
So England begin to move forward again. Here is the tall figure of Jude Bellingham with those big gaping holes in the back of his white socks. Bellingham again, just 21, to Luke Shaw, then back to Mark Gay. Kobbie Mainoo comes short, still in the central third. Then Declan Rice just adjusts himself and passes it to Foden, who's dropped deep here. Foden looking up with Thiamin in front of him, still Foden. Back it goes, and now England try to start again down the right-hand side. Walker actually gets his head down and sets off on a run, and then has to check back, and then back into his own half it goes. They've certainly become more solid, haven't they, the Dutch, in the second half. Thiamin came on towards the edge of the first period for Depay. Mark Gay, as deafening noise is coming out of the Dutch fans. Now down the right-hand side with the cross from Walker that is blocked, bounces away. Kobbie Mainoo on the halfway line gets that down to his feet. Mainoo, and England again go back towards the central defenders. I think Mark Gay says, just roll it to me, which he does, and Mark Gay's going to take it on through the middle. Kane comes deep. He's in the middle of the half at the moment, the England captain, with his yellow boots, playing the ball out towards Walker. Now to the right-hand side to Foden, who just moves away from Gakpo. Foden again, with that quick, slick footwork that we've seen from the Manchester City player to such great effect in this match. Kane is then challenged by De Vrij, who enjoyed that. It's out of play on the halfway line.
Good defending from De Vrij. It's the right ball into him. Kane just tries to hold him off and then just clip the ball around, but De Vrij's having none of it. He's tight and not leaving him at all. It's a good block.
Yeah, they're a really experienced pair, those two, aren't they? Van Dijk and Stefan De Vrij. Now Luke Shaw, just down in front of us. White socks just 3/4 of the way down his calves. Mark Gay, the Crystal Palace man, slips it forward to Foden. Foden on the turn. That's how England and Manchester City like to see him play. Uses Bellingham to his left. Now it's Kane. Kane's challenge goes down. Thiamin put in that challenge, but took the ball, and even though Kane was on the ground, the referee said, yeah, play on, and the Dutch played forward towards Dumfries, but that'll just bounce out of play for a throw-in to England on the halfway line, Matt.
Dumfries just having a complaint there that Luke Shaw just checked his run. It was a good ball over the top from Verbruggen, actually. The Dutch winning the ball back, but they just can't seem to keep hold of the ball at all. I mean, it's difficult for them. You just feel, as time goes on in this game, you can't keep dropping deeper and deeper and defending how they are. I mean, they're packing out the midfield, very much three sat in there, Weghorst up on his own, and they haven't got too much of an outlet, so England win the ball back and then just build in another wave of attacks to have to defend. It's very much the pattern in this second half so far.
Yeah, the Dutch are sitting in here. A couple of my broadcasting friends who follow the Netherlands, I saw them first time I've seen the Netherlands live at this tournament, so first time I'd seen them, asked them what they were thinking about the team, and they said, Koeman, he's such a conservative coach, rolling their eyes. So I think that gave you an idea of the sort of reaction that there's been to the Dutch performance during the course of this tournament. Well, it seemed to ring a bell somewhere.
Yeah, he said everything when he brought Veerman on for Depay, didn't it? And how he looked at it, he thought it was an opportunity to shore things up as opposed to be more offensive. But it might be the smart move because England, for me, are better.
Yeah, they are though. The Dutch trying to break with Gakpo. Gakpo's had such a good tournament. Then plays it to Dumfries on the right-hand side. Gakpo into the penalty area. The Dutch do have shirts in there. In from Veerman, but he's got far too much on that. And the England fans cheer as it just drifts away beyond the far post. Goal kick.
That's the threat they carry, both with Gakpo and with Siemens, either side of Weghorst. Both of those two, either side of them, have got pace. And then they hope to get into danger areas and then put it into the box for the big man in Weghorst.
We're already into the last half hour of this semi-final. So, just as I say that, thoughts begin to turn to what there might be after 90 minutes. Here's Foden inside his own half, with Veerman sticking closely to him. Foden there just turns, and there's a little bit of a reaction from him, a bit of arms flailing from Foden, as if to say, didn't have the options that I wanted there. Walker, now Rice makes himself available on the halfway line. Rice just moving it from right to left, and then still coming forward. And now here is Mark Gay, who's joined the attack from the left-hand side. Foden is available, but the Dutch have got everyone apart from Weghorst behind the ball. England are going to have to find a way, pick a way through this. Bellingham to Foden, now Shaw, back towards Rice again, who looks over his shoulder. Rice, now down the left-hand side, Luke Shaw with Siemens, very close quarters to Declan Rice. Foden is there as well. In comes the challenge from Schouten, but Rice was very quickly in, and the referee says that Foden impeded Schouten, and it's a free kick to the Dutch, halfway inside their own half. We're yet to see an attempt on goal, Alan, from either side in the second half.
Yeah, I think England were knocking it around, and Shaw and Foden and Declan Rice here down on England's left-hand side, but they were actually going nowhere, and the Dutch were quite happy to let them press, and then on the go, then get the ball back, and England give away a foul.
See Harry Kane just chatting away to the German referee Felix Weyer after that, as Bellingham, I think, might have been caught by a hand by Schouten, but Schouten was able to play it back to Verbruggen, and now here's Veerman and Siemens, and then Siemens will knock it back into central defence to Van Dijk. I mean, they're cancelling each other out at the moment in the second half. Schouten back to De Vrij. Nothing like the thrills and spills and creativity that we saw in the first half, but here goes Schouten with a pass down the right-hand side for Siemens, but Pickford will pass it out to Declan Rice, who's come back almost into the left-back position. And Declan Rice back to Gay, who just chips it forward out of play. Unforced error, and the Dutch supporters have taken real positivity from that. Many of them actually getting to their feet and cheering their team on. So Van Basten's shirt down there as well. Bullet and Van Basten, who scored the 2 goals when the Dutch won the Euros here in Germany back in 1988. Gay in with a challenge from behind on Siemens, who goes down and wins a set piece on the right.
It's just 2 minutes of sloppy play. We set up here on the left-hand side when they're in forward positions. Now we've seen it in a defensive area where the ball can go quicker and earlier. They get caught on the ball, they give it out for a throw, and it then comes back in and they give a foul away. It's unnecessary in a dangerous position.
Feels like it's a dangerous period of play, this, for England, because the momentum that they had in the first half has not been carried on into the second. And the Dutch now, with this set piece that Veerman is going to take from the right-hand side, just cleans the bottom of his boots, the studs, raises his right arm. England holding their line just outside of the penalty area. The referee's in there talking to one of the Dutch players on the edge of the box. It's Van Dijk, actually. Van Dijk, who's standing next to Kyle Walker, who I think might be talking away to the Liverpool captain there. Kyle Walker. Veerman plays this in. That's a lovely looking ball, and it's stabbed goalwards and saved by Pickford. What a good save that was. Have to confess, that looked like from Nathan Ake that it was goal bound, and Pickford, leaping to his left, pushed it away wide.
Come off Declan Rice, you know. What I do know is it was a wonderful ball in. A real hard ball for the defenders and the goalkeeper to handle. But Pickford did really well in pushing it out for the corner.
Veerman to take this from the right-hand side. First big chance of the second half. Still 1-1 the score. Veerman, after that excellent delivery with a free kick, and it comes in, it's headed up and over by Dumfries at the near post, and it's a goal kick to England.
Yeah, you just can't afford to give them any chances. You can't afford to try and let them get back into the game, and England have done that themselves by giving silly fouls away and silly balls out for throw-ins, and just giving the encouragement that they may need.
Down to Izzy, who's behind that goal.
Yeah, the England fans are like coiled springs, actually, because they're just waiting for the next moment from England. But I blame Ronald Koeman for that, because he's been pretty negative, hasn't he? The way he set the team up in the second half, it's kind of just nullified England. But we've got to keep believing and stay in it, because the fans are firmly behind them, that's for sure.
Yeah, as the ball's headed back to Verbruggen on the edge of his penalty area, and the Dutch goalkeeper is able to get it away. First time downfield, and Weghorst is penalised for his physical challenge on John Stones, who goes down. Ronald Koeman can't believe it, but it's a free kick to England. I'm still not sure who that actually came off at from the save from Pickford. Might have been Van Dijk, might have been Rice, the two of them together. But anyway, free kick to England.
Free kick to England. I know there's a long ball up. The goalkeeper Verbruggen had to get rid of it, but in doing so, it's a long ball up, and he's trying to fight for it, Weghorst and Stones. And at this level of international football, you're not going to get away with that when you're trying to. Your arms are that high.
Alan, England have not been able to get Saka into the game at all in the second half.
They've had a lot of possession, but they've done very, very little with it. Hardly ever been in the 18-yard box to cause a threat.
Here's Rice, though, receives it from that free kick, takes the ball through the middle. Here's Bellingham, now square from him to Kobbie Mainoo, out to the right. Saka just backs away. I think the floodlights were in his eyes there for a moment. Saka, however, was able to control it. Walker back to Mainoo, puts his foot on the ball. Saka infield. Foden tried to bring that down, but it got away from him. Cleared by De Vrij to Weghorst. Weghorst, all action, Stones is in on the challenge, gets the ball, takes it away from him. However, that was straight back to the Dutch and to Schouten, who was able to play it to the left-hand side, but the Dutch just actually almost pull the handbrake on there. Instead of continuing to go forward, back they go to the halfway line again. A pattern is emerging. Here's Simons with Reinders just next to him, but Van Dijk just gets the ball under control on the halfway line and taps it forward towards Reinders, and Reinders with a little shimmy. Harry Kane goes with him. Now Dumfries on the right-hand side, back to De Vrij, and then the fair-haired Schouten again. Nathan Ake has got some space over there on the left-hand side, and now Cody Gakpo on the left wing, right-footed cross deep to the back post. Pickford comes, gets his gloves to it, and that deflects it. There were two Dutch players at the back post, but Pickford's touch takes it behind for a corner.
Well, just in the defensive situation, England did go back to the back five there, and no surprise at all that at every opportunity now the Dutch on the left-hand side or the right-hand side, their main aim is to fire balls into the box for the big man.
Corner then from the right-hand side. Yeah, it was Van Dijk who got the contact that forced the save from Jordan Pickford 2 or 3 minutes ago. So 1-1 the score. This is right in the balance again, and referee Zvaya is again right in the thick of a group of players there, and here comes the corner then. The Dutch raise the volume. Veerman, it's a deep one this time, headed goalwards by Ake, but the whistle had already gone. Well, the referee gave them fair warning, and I think he's just saying to Pickford, what's he saying to Pickford? Anyway, it's a free kick to England.
It was Weghorst and Rice that were wrestling at the far post. They had each other by the neck, really, and as soon as the ref saw that, he gave a free kick for England, and rightly so.
He's twisted his head off. Weghorst has certainly, Matt, put himself about.
It was a friendly embrace. What I could see, it was very much 50-50, but like Al mentioned, I think the referee just looked at it and thought, well, he had his hand too high around Rice. Rice was hugging him as well, and I think England have to do that on that set plays. We've got to be clever. I think it's a big problem, those corners, and England have to defend them well and be physical, match up against some really good headers of the ball. De Vrij, Van Dijk, we've got Weghorst on there now, Ake, Dumfries. There's some good heading power in that team, and for me that's a concern.
Stones with a long pass there for Bellingham to chase, but it was shepherded behind by Schouten. Just watching on the field now over there on the far side, Phil Foden talking to Bukayo Saka. You know, if we're thinking another change by Gareth Southgate, what's the change that is going to swing this back England's way in terms of the domination?
Well, because of what the Dutch have done and sitting right back, and they've got so many bodies back there, it's very difficult to get the space.
Schouten's giving it away, but Rice's pass forward is harmless, way beyond anyone and through to the goalkeeper.
Just wonder whether the legs of Watkins would do, you know, in terms of running behind. I mean, Bellingham's done it once or twice. I know there's not a lot of space in there because they're sitting back, but we haven't caused them anywhere near enough problems in this second half compared to what we did in the first half.
Matt, what do you think, subs wise?
I would think Ivan Toney and play two up, and you'd have to take somebody out in the middle, whether it be Foden, Bellingham or Mainu. Very difficult to pick who you take off, but I think Ivan Toney or Watkins, like Alan mentioned, but Toney for me, I think he's a real threat.
It's 1-1, BBC Radio 5 Live, semi-final night here in Dortmund for the right to meet Spain in Berlin on Sunday. We'll have that fully covered for you across the BBC. It's live on BBC Television and of course here on 5 Live. Here is Reinders back to Simons. Now it's England who are parked inside their own half. Veerman to Ake. Virgil van Dijk just turns to his right, rolls a pass through the middle to Simons. That's a little short to De Vrij, and Bellingham in on the slide there.
That's naughty.
In on De Vrij, and a yellow card comes out for Jude Bellingham. And I did wonder for a moment there whether the referee...
You know, he needs to be really careful, because I saw him a minute ago look over to the bench at Gareth and sort of throw his arms in the air as if to say this is not working.
Do you not think that when we go to that for, one of them has to play this? It's the old issue, isn't it, of one having to play out on the left. Bellingham's been out in here second half.
He's not comfortable doing it, isn't he?
And he doesn't look like, you know, it's not where he's at his best, and he knows it, and he kind of expresses that, to be honest.
So the referee that Jude Bellingham once called out 2 or 3 years ago shows him a yellow card here, but really it was a simple decision, right decision.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if he's going to do that, then he's also got the option of Eze and Gordon as well, hasn't he, on the left hand side.
Here is Mainu is challenged illegally so by Gakpo, so it's a free kick. Mainu very quickly up to his feet there, he wasn't staying down, and England leave it for the free kick to be taken. Yeah, not the dazzling play as it was at times in the first half from England, and therefore it's 1-1, and with the play that it is at the moment, the pattern that it is, it would not be in the least surprising were this match to go into extra time. Mainu moving from right to left, all the way the pass comes to Luke Shaw. Bellingham makes the run, but Shaw goes back towards Rice, and now Mark Gay, Stones. Foden wants it over there on the right-hand side. Foden putting his arms apart on the right flank. He wanted that more quickly. You can see there his arm goes up again, Foden.
Are you a bit surprised the shape's changed from the first half? Because it's a straight swap Shaw for Trippier. You'd think it'd just be more balanced and more aggressive going forwards. It's really surprised me that we have really gone back to a back four.
Yeah, now Saka takes on Ake, but Ake is able to play that via the England man, and it's through for a goal kick, and Phil Foden is not happy. He says something to the referee as he walks past him with his hands on his hips. Van Dijk says something to the referee. Saka is still down, maybe just got his toe end stood on by Ake, but it's a goal kick to the Dutch.
You know, it's really, when you're comparing the first half to the second half, what we said about all the positives, about the quick passing, about the energy and all of those things, that was so good. We haven't hardly seen any of it in the second half up to now.
Right, Weghorst with Gay, might have pulled his shirt there, however, Simons, then to Gakpo, and then Kyle Walker in with a challenge. I think it was a 50-50. The Dutch are in the stands saying that they felt that was a foul, but I think it was well timed by Walker. Here's Bellingham, gets his head to it on the left-hand side, but can't keep the ball in play, so that's a throw-in to the Dutch, and Bellingham had to be careful there. He's on a yellow card, and he passed the ball away. He's just got to watch himself. In these circumstances, a red card, I mean, that could be pivotal in terms of the way that a match that is poised like this goes.
Yeah, Gareth needs to be careful here, because he's got a frustrated young footballer out there on the left who doesn't really want to be there. He's just been yellow carded for a tackle. He's moaning to the manager to say it's not working at the minute. He needs to be careful and have a think about taking him off.
Now here's Gakpo as the Dutch come forward. The game has changed in the second half. Reinders. Gakpo again, running at Bukayo Saka. It's back in position. It's part of the defence for the time being. Reinders, square from him to Schouten, and then back to De Vrij. With just over 15 minutes to play. Dumfries. Reinders again, who's appeared on the right-hand side. They're a very industrious three, this midfield that the Dutch now have on the field, with Veerman coming on in the first half, the other one Schouten, now to Dumfries. Schouten again, back into the central area, now through the middle. Reinders wants it, Simons. The Dutch knocking the ball about, as is their traditional style. Van Dijk, now back to Schouten again. Simons finds a little space on the right-hand side. Siemens, little dart forward towards the edge of the penalty area from him. And then Reinders back to Veerman, and then Schouten with Simons. And still the Dutch just knocking at close passes, 10 yards, then back towards Van Dijk, now out to the left-hand side to Nathan Ake. Gakpo is there as well with his heels on the white line. Now he's running it. Bukayo Saka stabs it back to Ake. Ake's crossed into the area. That's headed away by Declan Rice. Harry Kane racing for it, but can't get there. Schouten comfortably there first. And the Dutch, their spirits are rising here because they're dominating the possession right now in the match, and England are on the back foot.
They've dropped 20 yards further back, and they're the one that are soaking up the pressure now. They're the ones that are sitting back now, England.
So it is again the Dutch with Schouten. De Vrij then is able to come forward and then just tap it square again. Reinders turns, but Kobbie Mainoo comes across in front of him. Nathan Ake. And it is Veerman again in quite a deep lying position. Chips it out towards the left-hand side where Gakpo is up against Walker this time. Gakpo's ball in, right-footed into the penalty area. Might bounce down for the shot from Simons into the ground, and then it bounces up and Pickford is able to hold it comfortably.
Well, it's good play from Gakpo, 1v1v Kyle Walker, who decides to come back inside on his right and whip it in there for Weghorst again. And it falls well for Simon, but he just can't get his volley away. He hits it into the ground, which is straight at Pickford.
So down pitch side behind that goal to Izzy.
Yeah, a really long bit of play where England had to just withstand and soak up the pressure, didn't they? Dutch moving the ball really well side to side. It was a comfortable save in the end for Pickford, but the Dutch, you can see, just growing in enthusiasm. Getting that shot off will bring them confidence without a doubt.
But how much, Matt, is it the way that England are playing that is helping the Dutch confidence?
Yeah, it's just we've not had the rhythm. And then because the Dutch are getting back into it, Weghorst has been a brilliant focal point, I have to say. He's relieving pressure and not only getting hold of the ball, he's then laying his teammates in, and the Dutch have managed to get up the pitch and ride the storm. And whenever that ball goes in the box, they're just looking for crossing opportunities. Gakpo, one-on-one, he'll shift it onto his right foot and he will whip that in every time, knowing that Weghorst and Simmons are just waiting in the box for him.
Well, Rice gave it away, but it bounces back for England. Palmer and Watkins are going to come on for England. Here's Shaw now, left-footed ball across the box, headed away by Van Dijk. That'll come out to Rice. He just has a look to see where Gakpo is and draws him, and then gives it to Walker. Walker makes ground up the right-hand side, then back towards Rice. Yeah, it's really had the feel that England needed freshening up. They needed substitutes, and it is Watkins, as you suggested, Alan, who's going to come on, and Palmer as well. So we're going to see a double change. The question is, who's coming off? Foden now. Foden towards the edge of the area. Now to Walker. Walker's ball in. Saka! 2-1 England. Offside flag goes up, and the goal is ruled out. Oh, agony for England. For the third time at the tournament, they've had the ball in the net, and the goal's ruled out for offside.
On the one occasion that they do threaten down the right-hand side. Oh, that is very, very tight, you know. That is so tight with Kyle Walker there, and he picks out Bukayo Saka in the middle there, and he finishes it really, really well. It's a tight call, that is.
Let's just see if it is confirmed. Yeah, confirmed. Offside. The goal is ruled out. It remains Netherlands 1, England 1. But there we are. I mean, that's what England have been crying out for the second half. And who's coming off? It is going to be Harry Kane. So that's it. Harry Kane taken off in the 80th minute today. And the other, I'm not sure if the number's actually gone up yet.
Phil Foden.
So it is Foden. Foden comes off. It'll be interesting to see what the body language is like here. Gareth Southgate does go across to him. Cole Palmer comes on. It's Gareth Southgate, there's a clasp of hands. He puts his arm around him. There's a little word between them. Harry Kane as well gets a hug, a pat on the back. The man who scored the equaliser from the penalty spot. And so there we are, Watkins and Palmer. Let's see what they can bring, Alan.
Yeah, well, he'll certainly bring fresh legs. He'll certainly bring someone who wants to and willing to run in behind, which they haven't had that at all, other than that one occasion where Walker was just offside. And someone who'll chase down and put them under pressure at the back. We haven't had that at all.
Well, that's what he's doing now. Watkins herring around the Aston Villa top scorer. Bellingham now slides in, but De Vrij hit that long. Weghorst got up, was able to head it out to Simons, but Luke Shaw was in, and now Mark Gay back to goalkeeper Pickford. So Cole Palmer has taken up a position over there on the right side of the midfield, and Mark Gay just playing it forward towards Kobbie Mainoo. We've got less than 10 minutes to go.
Interesting, Bellingham's still out on this left-hand side, isn't it? I mean, he's operating here, but he doesn't look particularly like he's in the zone or that interested in what he needs to do. And he's made those two changes, but he's still sitting over on this left-hand side, not really having much impact.
I have to say, I do feel for Phil Foden. He had a super first half, and again, he's done everything but score there. And then his frustration grew in the second period. And it probably was going to be either him or Bellingham. In the end, it was Foden. Ball goes back to Pickford. Then Mark Gay. And actually, Bellingham has dropped all the way back into the back line almost to receive the ball from Pickford. John Stones. Little ball over the halfway line. Palmer's first touch is assured. Well struck back to Bellingham. Into the last 10 minutes, reaching the stage of this match where now, with the score level at 1-1 on 5 Live and the World Service, next goal might be enough to take the team into the final, whoever is able to score it. Schouten. Then back to Reinders. Watkins just patrolling the area next to him. Palmer as well. Now Watkins again is putting Schouten under pressure. And then De Vrij goes back to Van Dijk. Virgil van Dijk gets the ball back from Schouten. Van Dijk just stares forward, ball at his feet. Back it comes to the captain. Schouten virtually part of the back line as England put the press on. Shaw didn't quite work there. England press again. Rice it is now on De Vrij. And then on the goalkeeper for Bruggen, who puts his foot on the ball. Cole Palmer over there to Van Dijk. The Dutch trying to play around this. Reinders, Palmer chasing after him. Reinders still going down the left wing. Infield, that's lovely. Ake, Reinders now down the right. Still Reinders, his ball across. Weghorst is there. Excellent challenge from Gay, who just put himself in there next to Weghorst, and the ball bounced down for Pickford.
Brilliant play from the Dutch. The way they move it, the way they pass it with pace, from the goalkeeper right through the defence to the midfield, and then into England's back, into the defensive area of England, and they're looking to get the ball in for Weghorst, and he just can't get the connection what he wants. But it was brilliant passing from the Dutch.
Netherlands' best move of the match. 1-1 the score. England, who have not tested for Bruggen in the second half. Well, for all the chances they had in the first period, when there was lots of positivity, brought Luke Shaw on at half-time. It felt like that was a positive move, but the changes that Ronald Koeman made have made it more difficult, more awkward for England. They've become more difficult opponents to play against. Stones, long pass from inside his own half. Watkins on the chase. It's headed away, a little slip from Bellingham, so Schouten gets there first. Bellingham tries to step in front of that. Bellingham goes again. Now Luke Shaw with Dumfries leans into him. Bellingham's there with a flick. Shaw is there as well. Bounces up to Weghorst, and the free kick is given England's way. Bellingham wins the free kick. Siemens is absolutely raging about that.
You can see why as well. That was never a free kick. I never thought that was a free kick at all. That was a fair challenge.
However, Bellingham reacted by trying to raise the England fans, many of whom are down in the stand in front of us here. So free kick, set piece. Shaw actually takes it short to Gay. We're in the 85th minute, so extra time not too far away. Here's Menu. Rice stretching, and Menu into the challenge. Dumfries goes sprawling. The referee says the Dutch are in possession, so he plays the advantage. Simons now clips it out to Gakpo over there on the far side. Walker turning in field. Challenged by Bukayo Saka, sent him flying. Gakpo, it's a free kick, and Bukayo Saka might be fortunate not to be booked for that set piece.
Yeah, he just shoves him in the back, doesn't he, Gakpo? That's their threat, there's no doubt about it. I said it earlier about Gakpo and Siemens either side of Weghorst, and Siemens picking the ball up, and he has the options of either Weghorst to his right or to the left. Gakpo, he picks him out. This is a really dangerous area again on the left-hand side, and you know what's going to happen. It's going to be whipped in with pace, trying to find one of the big centre-halves who have both come up.
It is a yellow card for Saka. Felt as though it had to be. So we're going to see Veerman playing this free kick again. He's proved already in this match that he has a very dangerous delivery. The Dutch number 16 standing out towards the left-hand side. England have got a two-man wall there, but the delivery into the box, lots of movement. Veerman plays it in. Van Dijk on the stretch, couldn't get there, and it's all the way through. Weghorst, Van Dijk, and the referee says goal kick, and Van Dijk is hopping mad. And there's a yellow card, I presume, to the Dutch captain Van Dijk for his reaction to that.
Well, I understand his reaction, because it should have been a corner. It was John Stones that flicked it by. Referee got it wrong again.
I'm really surprised with the delivery there, actually. After seeing his last ball in, he just kind of like chips this one up to the back post. It was hard to, if you're going to get any contact on this, it's hard to score with the ball with so little pace on it, and he's shown he's got the ability to whip that with real fierce kind of speed to the ball. I thought that was going to be the delivery that Veerman was going to put in.
Are you ready for more extra time with England again, Matt?
Always, John, always ready.
Looks as though it's heading that way. It's John Stones. I must say he's been very good tonight, John Stones. Pickford receives it from him and then overarms it out. 3 minutes to go, plus added time. Gareth Southgate stands down there impassively. If it goes England's way, over the course of the next half hour, he'll become the first man to take England to a final overseas. But it feels like it's still quite a long way away. Bellingham, back to Rice. Now Ollie Watkins. Mark Gay nearer the centre circle. Walker with a pass out towards the figure of Bukayo Saka, challenged by Nathan Ake. And then Saka just sees an opening, so he takes it on, left-footed ball out towards the left-hand side. Shaw is there, gets the ball under control. Shaw's ball across. Watkins on the stretch, didn't get there. Palmer shoots across goal wildly. Sliced it really. Low fives between Van Dijk and De Vries, and it's a goal kick, 1-1.
It's a really good ball from the left-hand side from Luke Shaw. They switch the play, the long ball across, and he takes the touch, Shaw, and just puts it into the middle, hoping that Watkins is going to get on the end of it, but he makes his run just that little bit too quick, and it goes past him, but falls to Palmer. Just can't get it on target.
So goal kick it is, and there's just a little lull in the noise around this cavernous stadium. Brilliant setting. I remember watching the Germany-Italy World Cup semi-final in this stadium. That was an epic. That went to extra time as well before the Italians shocked and knocked out the hosts. This one level at 1-1. Gay is eased over by Gakpo. Again, the Dutch fans are furious.
That's not a foul.
They are furious.
No chance is that a foul. I can see why they're furious. The players knew.
Well, there's been a feeling among the Dutch fans that this was a bad appointment because of the history, so that it's in their heads already. Goal kick then, free kick then. England play it out towards the right-hand side. Walker, who's again as the vice-captain, Kyle Walker, taking the armband after Harry Kane went off, and certainly Ollie Watkins, as you suggested, would be the case, Alan. You know, there is certainly, he's brought something to England up front, the movement that he has, as Palmer is being chased back into his own half, gives it back towards Walker all the way back to Pickford. Pickford just allows the ball to roll onto his left foot and then passes it out to Mark Gay, almost in the left-back position. Gay, who's being pressed by Simons, so plays it back to the goalkeeper. Now John Stones receives it from him. We're in the 90th minute. The score is still 1-1. John Stones. Declan Rice comes short, and then a stretch by Mainu. Palmer's able to take up possession of the ball. Palmer, lovely ball to Watkins inside the area. Watkins, he scored! Watkins from an impossible angle, across Verbruggen and into the far bottom corner. What a strike that is from Ollie Watkins. Big part in this England squad, but the hero of the semi-final in Dortmund. What a finish! Netherlands 1, England 2, and we're into added time in the semi-final. It seems England are set for Berlin, thanks to Ollie Watkins.
That is a sensational finish. That's what he offers. He ran in behind, he wanted the ball delivered. It was delivered, he took the touch. What a turn, what a finish. The keeper's got no chance. He finds the bottom of the net. That's what you want when you put a substitute on. You need him to impact the game. That's what he brought him on for that run, for that touch, and for that finish.
The reaction from the England fans in the stands, the players on the pitch racing to Ollie Watkins, and also all of the coaches, Harry Kane, the substitutes running down the line. Some of them came onto the pitch. Izzy, down pitch side, what was the reaction like from the England fans in the stands?
Oh my word, they have gone into absolute overdrive. Their arms, their shirts, everything is in the air, waving. So many of them are climbing up on the barriers. Unbelievable scenes, and there's a red flag going off.
The Dutch, Ronald Koeman, what an agonising moment that was for him. The goal going in just as we moved into added time. Ollie Watkins. Well, we've questioned, Matt, you and I, when we've been commentating on England matches, whether he had it at international level. He had it there.
He's answered that question. I mean, how quick did he take it? It was like a lovely swivel and hit all in one, and I just think it caught De Vrij out, who was the covering defender, going across with that diagonal run into the side of the box, but the speed in which he's turned and hit it is just caught him off guard, right through his legs, and it's just nestled just inside the post. It's absolutely inch perfect, that finish. What a goal.
Listen, there's a rash of substitutions being made now. Saka's coming off, Konsa's coming on. What you need to know, by the way, we haven't said it yet, there are only 2 minutes of added time have been added on, and the Dutch are making changes. They're going to bring on Xerxes as well, who we might see at Manchester United next season. It's a double change. Also, the young Ajax striker Brian Brobby is going to come on. This is his first appearance of the tournament, so Simons comes off, and Colin Gallagher came on for Kobbie Mainoo into the midfield, Alan.
Well, we know where this ball is going, back to the goalkeeper and straight up front, I think.
And England now just trying to organise themselves. Konsa has gone to the right side of the three, so it is very much a back five now for England. And I make it, we're in the 4th minute of added time now, so it's all up to referee Felix Vaya how long will be added on. The score, Netherlands 1, England 2. Weghorst tries to flick this ball on. Rice now with a stretch. Rice gets it down. Rice takes it away to the halfway line past Ake. Cole Palmer's almost in on this. Palmer is on this, but can't play it square. And the Dutch back in possession. Conor Gallagher chasing that ball, gets there ahead of Xerxes and deflects it out of play. 3.5 minutes of added time have been played. There's a yellow card coming out for someone on the England bench who's out of our sight underneath the roof of the dugout. Difficult to know who that was. Not sure it was Gareth Southgate. I think it was someone to his left. Anyway, we're only seconds away now. England seconds away from a place in the final. Shaw heading it forward. Another late show for England here. with a truly stunning strike, a surprising strike from Ollie Watkins. Palmer gives it away. Xerxes through the middle. Xerxes, tall, huge hair to Ake. Now Gakpo on the left. Gakpo's high ball into the England penalty area to the back post. Is headed across the box, but chested down by Bellingham. And Bellingham will just take this away downfield. We're now in the 5th minute of added time. Depends how long the referee is going to add on here as Bellingham draws the foul. Wins a free kick in front of the dugout. And actually, 3 of the England substitutes, Ramsdale, Gordon and Kieran Trippier, come and applaud Bellingham for winning the free kick like that. Free kick to England. They're almost there. What a finish, Alan.
What a finish, what a substitution. That's what he offers, what Harry hasn't been doing. Harry has brought different qualities. We know that he stuck the penalty away really well. But that's the one thing that he can do. That's why he brought him on, to upset the defence, and it's won the game for England.
There it is, the final whistle here in Dortmund, and Harry Kane races onto the pitch, and everyone's running to Ollie Watkins, the match winner, perhaps the unlikely match winner. Gareth Southgate and his coaches celebrate Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank down there. The English man against his Dutch nation. They go across to Ronald Koeman and they are going to Berlin. England are going to Berlin to the final, and for the first time England will play in a final on foreign soil. What a dramatic finish yet again from England, Alan Shearer.
Well, they had to suffer for large periods in that second half because of the switch that Ronald Koeman made. He got men behind the ball, they just couldn't find a way, and it was crying out for a substitute. It was crying out for someone that could run them behind and ask different questions of the 2 centre-halves, because they hadn't done that at all in the second half. That man was Ollie Watkins, and he did it perfectly well. The ball into him was brilliant, but the touch and the finish was sublime. The keeper had no chance into the corner of the net.
And it's the England fans that you can hear. They might have been outnumbered by the Dutch wall and all of this orange. Great disappointment for them and Ronald Koeman, who have fallen short here after he changed things quite significantly at half-time. But Ollie Watkins, Matt Upson, has won the day.
That's unbelievable, John, to be honest. I mean, there were moments in that second half where you just felt we're in a bit of trouble here. There was probably a 10-minute spell where the Dutch really got on top, put the ball in the box, a few set plays, looked threatening. We lost our rhythm. And then, credit to Gareth Southgate, the changes that he made, how he adjusted it, has just worked perfectly. And the goal was just a thing of beauty from a centre-forward perspective. I mean, the movement and the swivel and the turn and the hit all in one, it was so super sharp that it was just worthy of a winning goal. It was a cracking finish from Watkins.
Gareth Southgate just going around all of his players out there. It's a huge hug for Kobbie Mainoo, who has had such a strong performance in the first half. And there we are. England have confounded the critics again. They will be in Berlin on Sunday. Finalists, runners-up at Euro 2020. Now finalists again at Euro 2024. And on Sunday night we will have Spain against England for you. Final score here, Netherlands 1, England 2. And Mark Chapman, again, England coming up with drama and tension.
And Ollie Watkins is on his own in front of the England fans, first of all, before some of the England players go and join him. And the England players let him have that moment in front of the England fans. Don't they, Izzy? He was there on his own for a little bit.
Yeah, he was tapping his chest where the England crest is on the left-hand side of his shirt, and what a moment. Alan called it in commentary, didn't he? Bring on Watkins, but to come on and do that, and spoken about in the 5 Live coverage about everybody in this tournament, everybody that plays for England that's been picked is going to have a moment, and that's Ollie Watkins' moment. Trent Alexander-Arnold had his moment against Switzerland with that winning penalty, and to take it and to be ready for it when you need it, it's just an unbelievable level of character and resilience, and a sense of calm in a moment where his country needed him. And Gareth Southgate, he is owed a lot of credit for the way that he managed that game, I tell you that.
they've given Ollie Watkins player of the match. I mean, they didn't need to do that, John. I'm sure he's going to do as many interviews as he gets asked for. He doesn't have to do the requisite player of the match one.
Yeah, they've sent him again on his own, and he's now he's leading the singing and dancing down there. He's the man who's closest to the stands, and really it's taken a while for Ollie Watkins. As I was saying, for Ollie Watkins, you know, this is his 14th cap. It is his 4th goal, but we've never been sure. We've never been sure about him in an England shirt. He's never looked quite like the player who's looked so good for Aston Villa.
Hang on a minute. Where's this collective? Who's the collective we there?
When we've talked about him playing for England.
Yeah, but you know, what he's very, very good at. It was crying out for that. It was crying out for the energy. Not only just to put the centre-halves under pressure when they had the ball, but more importantly, for someone to run in behind. Those two centre-halves are not quick on the turn. So when England had the ball in and around, it wasn't just the long balls. When they had the ball in and around the 18-yard box, they needed to turn the defenders. And that's what he is brilliant at. He's been superb at doing that this season. And he needed to do it once. And that once has won England the game.
That second half, I think, was really interesting because the Dutch brought on Weghorst, and he gave them an option, and Watkins came on to give England an option as well, but a different type of option.
Yeah, absolutely, completely different. And Weghorst, I have to say, was super effective at what he did, and the Dutch found him brilliantly. It was a good release when the pressure was on, and he played his part. But the two centre-backs, the two Dutch centre-backs, they love getting tight. De Vrij, the amount of times he gambled to get tight and win the ball or apply pressure to a player's first touch when they got the back to goal. He loves it. He loves it when he's in front. When he's running back the other way, he's not as happy at all. And it showed in that one moment that Ollie Watkins exposed. It showed, and it just, at this level, it just needs that one moment. And took advantage of it. It's so clinical what Watkins did. And like Alan said, that is his trademark in that sense, that kind of run.
Yeah, I just watched as well Gareth Southgate going to John Stones, who had a very different sort of challenge, didn't he, in the second half against Weghorst, and I thought had an excellent night, Stones.
Well, I think maybe Alan, Matt is here, you go first, Alan, probably sums up the two halves. The first half, you're thinking, well, Kobbie Mainoo and Phil Foden are probably England's two players of the match. Now, based on the second half, you might go Stones, actually, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Two very different halves. We said at half-time about the energy and the pace of the passing, and Phil Foden getting in that 10 roll and causing all sorts of problems. Without doubt, it was England's best 45 minutes. But it was very different second half. Because of the changes that Ronald Koeman made, because everyone sat back, and there was no space, and everything was congested and it was tight, and there was a slight change to the system where they went 4 at the back, which was a little bit of surprise, and there's no doubt Bellingham wasn't as happy as he was in the first half. The second half, because he had to play more of a left-hand side of a 3 without any joy. And I was just wondering when the changes were going to happen, whether it was going to be on 20 minutes to go, 15 minutes to go. They had to happen. The changes were right and the changes were perfect, and that change was Ollie Watkins, and what a night for him and what a night for England.
Yeah, I was struggling with the change of formation, because we looked so fluid in that first half. It was a brilliant performance, so many players excelled, and we just couldn't hit that rhythm with the back 4 and Bellingham on the left.
Are you all right, Matt?
I'm choking up.
Are you emotional?
Chappers,
yes,
can I just come in there with the most animated I've ever seen Gareth Southgate right in front of me, right? And we'll probably see it later. Well, we definitely will see it later on the highlights. But we've seen him animated after the previous game against Switzerland. He's just taken it up another 10 notches, because there just seemed to be this deep strength within him, and he just was fainting to the crowd. I lip read him, he said one more to the crowd, and the crowd responded to him, and there just seemed to be so much that came out of him within that moment, and he got it spot on. He got it spot on, because he recognised, like Alan described, the weakness of the Dutch centre-backs, the strength, and how do we get on top of that? Ollie Watkins, he's the man. And what did he do? He went on and won the game, and it didn't go to extra time. Happy days.
Well, you don't blame him though, Dizzy. You don't blame. You don't blame him. I mean, 2 weeks ago they were throwing beer plastic skiffs at him and so on and so forth, and giving him stick. And by the way, that's not just a fans thing, that's a media thing as well, of which we're all part of. Some more stronger in their criticism of him than others. But I don't blame him for giving it back. To be honest, I'd be giving it back tenfold to some other people.
No, I'm not sure he was giving it back. I think he was actually enjoying it. I think, and so he should do. He's made a huge decision tonight in terms of the substitution, and it's worked perfectly for him. At times, yeah, he's been criticised, and rightly so, because England haven't performed as they could have and should have. In that first half tonight, I thought that was absolutely magnificent. It was more like what we wanted. And then in the second half, it had to be a different performance. He deserves all the credit.
I don't think you can kind of underestimate what that pressure valve is at this moment in time, when you feel a certain way, or you feel really passionate, or you wanted to prove something wrong, and then you do it. It's an amazing feeling, and I think that valve just gets open, and then that comes out in terms of just relieving that stress and letting people know what you're about. And I think he's done that, Gareth Southgate, certainly in this game. Like Alan said, the decisions that he's made, how the team have settled and just weathered that storm early on in this competition, I think is, you have to give a lot of credit to what that is.
Some lovely moments here at the moment, because the England friends and family are just down below us. They're above the England dugout, which is still wet on the top from what I'm assuming that's from all the rain earlier, and not from beer that's been thrown over the course of the 90 minutes. I mean, the other thing, just on the substitutions in all of this, Alan, is that not only was it Watkins with the finish, it was Palmer with the assist.
It worked perfectly for him. I mean, those two, as I said, when you put on as a substitute, you either put on to try and save the game or impact the game in a different way. We know why Palmer was brought on, to try and get that little bit of quality on the ball, which we just couldn't find in the second half. But we also know why Watkins was brought on, to upset the defenders, to run in behind the defenders and make a nuisance of himself. And when he got a chance to put it away, doesn't get any better than that, does it?
These are special moments for these England players and the England staff as well. They're not really wanting to leave in front of the dugout with all their family and friends down below us. I think what will happen now is that some of those the players will try and go into the tunnel, the staff will as well, and they'll want the ground just to quieten a little bit, and then they'll be able to come out and spend some time with their family and friends. Although I would say, given by what's going on behind Izzy at the moment, the fans aren't leaving the ground for the moment. Let's go down to the tunnel. Gary Flintoff, what's going on down there?
A real contrast down here, Mark. We've got the England players coming in. I mean, literally, they can hardly believe that they've managed to win this game right at the end. Actually, Seb Bassong, who's obviously done a bit of work on 5 Live over the years, just giving Kyle Walker a huge bear hug, and a big hug for Harry Kane as well. But on the other side, just saw Virgil van Dijk come through, basically his head in his shirt. And I think it's safe to say the majority of those Dutch players are absolutely shell-shocked. They can't believe it. They thought it was going to extra time, and yet Ollie Watkins had the answer for England.
Well, look, I think we have to be brutally honest as well here. For all the celebration and all the joy, if we were doing Dutch radio tonight, we would be going straight in on the referee, wouldn't we?
Oh, certainly for me.
I mean, he was awful from that point of view.
I mean, certainly towards the end there was a couple of really dubious free kicks that he gave that actually broke up the play or broke up the Dutch winning the ball back and then attacking. But I mean, the huge talking point is the penalty. I just think Dumfries is so hard done by. He doesn't actually kick out into the challenge. He just puts his foot up and Kane kicks through. For me, it shouldn't go to VAR review, and it should just be the on-field decision. I thought it was a real poor use of VAR.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm a Dutch player, if I'm Ronald Koeman, then I'm absolutely seething. If you remember when they brought it out VAR, they told it was sort of blinding obvious, and they're not going to re-referee games. That for me was a classic way of re-refereeing it. The referee didn't give anything on the pitch. He didn't think it was a penalty. I didn't think it was a penalty. So then for him to be sent there and overturn it, I was really surprised.
I didn't even see it was being checked, to be honest. I didn't see it come up on the screen, and I didn't assume there was either.
The other thing that you would say on that, though, I don't know if you felt it down there, Izzy, pitch side, is that they allowed themselves to get wound up by those decisions. And it's very easy for me to say sitting in the stand, but maybe they could have done with a calm head or two in that last 10 minutes.
The Dutch?
Yes.
Yeah, you're right, absolutely. But I think they've got reasons to feel aggrieved, because there was a few little challenges where I think it was Cody Gakpo down on that right-hand side in the second half. He just nicked the ball off. Was it Kobe Mainu? And he was away, and then the referee pulled it back for a free kick. And the England fans here are not complaining one little bit, but that's another reason why the Dutch can feel that way, and they'll definitely be going home feeling like they were hard done by. But that's the presence of England, and sometimes that happens. And England, in the end, they played some fantastic football in the first half, but we've got to remember we were drawing 1-1 at half time, and then it's actually the second half when they didn't play as well, England, but then we went on and won the game. So it's just funny how things work, but this team is in a fantastic position now to go and play Spain.
We will, I'm sure, look ahead to that final this evening. I think we're going to spend a lot of the next few days looking ahead to that final as well. Let's hear from the player of the match, the winning goal scorer, Ollie Watkins, and in his player of the match interview with Gabriel Clark.
Unbelievable. I've been waiting for that moment for weeks. It's taken a lot of hard work to get to where I am today, and grateful that I got the opportunity, and I've grabbed it with both hands, and I'm delighted.
Talk us through the goal.
I swear on my life, my kid's life, I said to Cole Palmer, we're coming on today and you're going to set me up. And that's why I was so happy with Coley I knew as soon as he got the ball he was going to play me, and you got to be greedy, touch and finish. And when I've seen it go in the bottom corner, it's the best feeling ever.
And the manager's had a bit of criticism for not making substitutions early enough. He's got it dead right tonight.
Look, there's been a lot of criticism, but at the end of the day we're in the final, and that's all that matters. So forget all the outside noise, we're in the final.
And to sum it up for this team now, you've seen last minute overhead kick equalizes, penalties, a last minute winner tonight. Something feels special here.
Yeah, exactly. We've got that kind of bounce back factor, going a goal behind, but it seems to kick us into gear, and we never give up, and we've won on penalties, we've come from behind. One more game now, one more game.
Ready for Spain?
Yeah, ready.
maybe let him celebrate first of all. The lines are open. 4606, Chris and Robbie on the way. 08085 909 693. I like Ollie Watkins' predictions there, Matt Upson, the confidence. But that's what we've seen, I suppose, during this tournament, haven't we? We've seen England subs ready to come on and change a game.
I'll be honest, I think one of the big things about this group is I think we've got a bit of a cocky arrogance about us, but in a good way. Not too much, but you cast your minds back to the game against the French in the World Cup, and that arrogance and belief that they feel they're better and that they can win. I think this group has just kind of developed that over the last 18 months. We've got a few individuals that are exceeding huge levels of performance in top teams across the world, and across the board I think we are really confident as a group, and it shows in the penalties, and it shows in moments like that where we're just doing the right things, hitting the right note at the right time in massive moments in games. And if you're going to do that and you play well and you've got the players, you've got a great chance of winning this thing.
Alan?
I feel drained. I feel as if I've been out there myself. It's a great night. I mean, at times, you have to suffer international football. It's not ever going to be easy. I thought we really dominated the first half, particularly after they scored. It was a great response. They upped their game, they passed it and had great energy, as I said. And then the second half, when it got really, really tough, they had to come up with different answers, and they had to defend really well, and they had to find a way again. And this team has done that without playing spectacular football for 4 or 5 of the games, they've just done enough when it really, really mattered, and they're into the final and they've got an incredible chance of winning it.
Tonight for England to celebrate Izzy. Over the course of the next few days, there will be so much preview of the final against Spain, which is a 9 o'clock kickoff local time in Berlin, 8 o'clock in the UK. We'll have all the build-up, full commentary, of course, here on 5 Live. Watch it on BBC television as well. And there will be a lot of analysis of England first half, England second half, and also of other games in this tournament where maybe they've gone off well and then dropped back a bit. For that analysis to be fully in-depth and fully fair tonight, do you actually have to give the Dutch credit and Ronald Koeman credit for how he changed things as well? It's not just a one-way street, is it?
No, it's not. And I think the first half, we spoke about it before the game, didn't we, in the build-up, about the way that the Netherlands play is probably actually going to bring the best out of England, because they went for it. And I think one of the key moments in the match was Memphis Depay going off injured, and it forced the Dutch to change their shape a little bit. They'd obviously addressed that at half-time, brought on Wout Weghorst to, essentially they look like a 4-4-2 from where I'm sat, and then just dropped off, because previous teams in the tournament have had a success playing 4-4-2 against England. They've completely slowed down England's rhythm, taken the zip out of their passing and frustrated us. But what we did was we responded to that, and I think the previous experiences of playing through this tournament in a 4-4 against a 4-4-2 actually helped England in that second half, because all we needed was a moment, and that happened because of the intelligence of the substitutes that came on and then the impact that they made. So it's going to be a completely different ball game against Spain, and of course we're not going to go into that now. There'll be loads, obviously, like you say, chappers, but because Spain zipped the ball, England might perform at the same level that they did in the first half tonight, which is really exciting for the England fans.
Ollie Watkins' winner was timed at 89 minutes and 59 seconds, which is the latest winning goal scored in a semi-finals at the Euros, or World Cup, apparently, excluding extra time. It was also England's only shot on target in the second half of this match.
I mean, there might not have been brilliant performances in this, but we've had drama, haven't we? We can't deny that. I mean, back to Bellingham's overhead kick, penalties, that goal. It just feels like it's going to be the time. I'm going to say it's got that feeling like it's going to happen.
Name on the trophy.
That's how it feels. It just...
If you were in that England camp, would you be, as a player and all the superstitions that you have and everything, would you be thinking name on the trophy?
If I had been through what these players have been through together and come to this point and still be standing, absolutely I would, because they should.
And then you're still an England player, and some lummox like me interviews you in the build-up to the final and says, "So, Matt, do you think the name's on the trophy?"
Yeah, love that question, don't you? Just love getting that question from lummox like you. But it just feels right. At every moment they've been doubted. It's just a great story to this point, and why shouldn't it go on?
And you lot were laughing at me the other night and saying settle down when I said this post-game.
Whoa. What?
Come on.
I don't remember that.
As I often... John was definitely laughing at you, absolutely laughing at you. He's not here to defend himself, so we'll have a go at John. 08085 909 603 if you want to get in touch. Yeah. And here is John now. He won't defend himself. Instead, he'll talk to Kobbie Mainoo.
Yes, I won't do that in front of Kobbie Mainoo, who's part of an England team that has reached a final on foreign soil for the first time. So how does that feel?
It's an undescribable feeling, We're all buzzing. It's been such a journey to get here, I feel like we've built on all the performances that we've had leading to this point, and I feel like the only way is up. Time to put ourselves into history,
I feel the first half performance was the best you've shown yet.
Yeah, it was. I feel like in the first half it was clicking with the whole team. Everyone was getting on the ball. Me, Phil, Decker, Jude. We had to feel like we had the game under control in the middle of the park, and I feel like the second half we just had to grind it out. It was tough, but the whole squad was a help. I mean, the impact off the bench from Cole and Ollie. I mean, what a finish! What a way to end it. So we're just buzzing.
Yeah, that finish from Ollie Watkins. That was the man who causes havoc at Aston Villa, wasn't it?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we've seen what we've done in the season this season, so it was the time was coming for him to score like that. I knew I could feel it, and he did that.
Cagey, it seems like 5 minutes I was sitting down with you in March where you had been catapulted into the senior squad, and here we are now.
Yeah, it's happened quick, but I've just been taking it day by day, game by game, and yes, now we're in the European Championship final, so yeah, buzzing.
What about taking on that Spanish team?
Yeah, everyone's seen they're a good side, have taken down some big teams, but we'll be ready for that. I feel like we've built up so much now, building on the performances, and now the only way is up, and we're going to be ready for that, and we're going to give it everything.
Listen, off you go and enjoy it. Thanks, Cagey. Cheers. Cagey Mainoo, Mark.
Thank you, John. Some kid, isn't he, Alan? I mean, just not only as a player, but just how he conducts himself, how he talks, how he takes everything in his stride.
Class. I think everything about him, isn't it? Just the way he sort of handles everything. It's so impressive. He played a huge part, particularly in the first half, with his passing and his pace of his passing. Nothing phases him, does it, at all? He just looks so comfortable and at home in everything that he's doing.
He added an. I don't think he said that to John there, but he added this when he spoke to TV earlier. We're not just here to get to the final and call it quits. We've got a job to do.
Well, he was my player of the match. I would go with him if I had to pick one out of an England team. Across the 90 minutes averaging out, I thought he was absolutely superb. He showed every side to his game tonight. He was tackling, intercepting the ball, getting into position, what he did with the ball. He's got this lovely way of letting the ball roll across, or he puts his foot on top of it and he sees the space and he just rolls it quickly, and when he's gone, he's got this kind of big stride and he chews up the ground, and then he's at the back four and then he's slipping passes off. He was absolutely superb, and that kind of body language that he has, he looks just completely relaxed, but for a player his age, I mean, doesn't bear the size of the occasion at all on his shoulders.
His stats, Izzy, tonight: 51 touches, 36 passes completed, 2 chances created, 100% long balls completed, 100% of his duels won, 2 interceptions, wow. 2 tackles, and that's the other thing in all of that. And Alan, I think, mentioned it at half-time. 2 or 3 times in that first half defensively he saved England.
Yeah, those stats are brilliant. I was really actually thinking then when you were speaking, I'd love to know his stats, so thanks for filling that void, chappers.
He's good for something.
Hang on, Izzy, hold it. I'm just going to go back down to the tunnel. Next for John Murray, Jude Bellingham.
Yeah, it's Jude Bellingham, and Jude, the story goes on.
And I told you last time we live to fight another day, didn't we? Another late goal. It'd be nice to score first at some point and have that kind of peace of mind. But when you know that you have players coming off the bench or in the starting 11 that are going to go right to the end, it really doesn't matter. And we know we're always in the game. We know we're going to fight with each other till the end. And the rewards come if you do the right things, and we did that tonight.
It had a lot of different sides to it, that game, didn't it?
Definitely. I think even when they scored the first goal, I didn't think we were playing badly, to be honest. It's one of those things where ball turns over and it's a good finish, to be fair. And we didn't even really take a dip after we conceded. It felt like we got straight back into the rhythm of the game, and that's probably why it took so quick to get back into it. And really happy, really proud of the boys, of the reaction again, the attitude, the mentality. Quality is one thing, but those kind of characteristics you can't learn every day in training. You get it from experience and each other, and really proud that it's rubbing off on each other.
Yeah. Listen, I'm feeling the euphoria here. England players, Gareth Southgate just to our left, but you're here to win the whole thing, aren't you?
That's it. And at the start of the tournament, you look at it after a long season, you think, 7 games, oh my God, 7 games. And I think that's the way I've approached it. Each game that's gone by, whether it's positive, negative, it's one more down till we get to Berlin. And now it's one more game. And we're tired, it's been a long season, but it's one more last push for our country, for our families, for each other, and for history, really. So we'll give it everything.
And for you, it's Spain.
Yeah, what a season. My old club in the Champions League final, and then the country that are playing in the European Championship final. So, a weird one. Obviously know a lot of the players well. had an amazing tournament. But, you know, I'm always confident in the ability and the characters that we have in our changing room. So it'll be an interesting game to go toe-to-toe.
Jude, well done. We'll see you in Berlin.
See you in Berlin, mate.
Yeah.
Something very amusing about Jude Bellingham calling John Murray mate at the end of that interview. I tell you what, if Jude Bellingham finds himself at the start of that game on the left-hand side, I would imagine his teammate at Real Madrid, Dani Carvajal, might give him an early little hello.
He may well do, and I'm not too sure if Jude will like playing wide out on the left in that game. That was another feature of that second half that you could see that he wasn't too happy, but he's happy to do it for the team, and he'll do it to the best that he can. But whether or not that really does slot in properly, I think there is certainly something there. But I mean, he talks so well, doesn't he? He's got such an amazing head on his shoulders for what he's done in such a short space of time, and you know, that again, that belief of this group's going to win it, it's just oozing out of the interviews at the moment after the game.
Izzy, do you want to go back to your Kobbie Mainoo point?
Well, yeah, I mean, just what stood out to me was the 2 interceptions in that first half. Really crucial reading of the game. There was one that sustained an attack in the attacking third. I think the Dutch had cleared the ball and he just slid and just kept the attack alive, which I thought was fantastic. And there was a defensive one as well in the first half, and those were moments where you could feel the Dutch were turning the screw a little bit, and for him just to read the game so well and to play with that intensity and that kind of awareness of when to release the ball, when to hold on to it a little bit longer, it's just unbelievable for a 19-year-old.
Let's see if we have a positive 606 trail. Chris Sutton.
Oh yeah, I mean, what a result. I'm absolutely delighted, Mark, especially for Gareth, because normally 606s throughout this tournament has been Gareth has got this wrong, Gareth has got that wrong, Gareth should be sacked. I mean, but tonight I thought his substitutions were first class. Taking off Harry Kane, you know, think about that. He's been the main goal scorer for England for however long, but being brave enough to take him off, getting Watkins on, and you made the point, Mark, about it was Cole Palmer who slipped the pass to him. I mean, he deserves a lot of credit for that. And I'm with Izzy. You didn't listen to Izzy, and a lot of people haven't listened to me in this tournament. It's not how you start the tournament, it's how you finish it. And I'm delighted for Gareth.
When did you say that?
Right.
When did you say that?
Well, as you know, Mark, I'm always consistent with my opinions, Mark, and I've been saying the same thing all the way along, Mark.
No, yeah, but when did you say it?
I've said it all along.
Okay, right. Do you think anybody will ring in and find fault somewhere?
No.
Okay.
I really do. How can they find fault in what England have actually done? They've got to, you know, a final. I think listening to John Murray, the first time England have reached a final on foreign soil. I've already had a message from one of my friends. I haven't got many friends. Oh God, I'm just looking for a recipe for humble pie, and he's one of thousands across the country who have doubted Gareth Southgate, and Gareth Southgate has proven them wrong.
08085 909 693. If you want to talk to Chris and Robbie, they'll be on their way shortly. We should get Gareth Southgate at some moment. We've done a lot of these games, Matt, Alan, Izzy, where we've sat by the family and friends as they wait for players to come out after what has not been a very good evening. There are a lot of smiles down there at the moment, aren't there?
They've got to embrace it, they've got to enjoy it. What an occasion, and I hope they can. They know, I mean, we heard from Jude, didn't he, and said there's one to go, but that doesn't mean you can't enjoy tonight, because they're under huge pressure, and you have to be able to enjoy these moments. That's what you're in the game for, but also understand they've got one big game to go.
It is really important they enjoy tonight, actually.
It is, and I'll take that back to the comments Gareth made before the game, in that it's not normal. It's not normal that you keep achieving back-to-back finals or semi-finals. I mean, these are big moments in any player's career from any country. But this group of players are doing it consistently. We're now in another final. So absolutely take a step back, see your family, enjoy it, embrace it. You know, they're amazing memories, aren't they, for these lads, and you've got to make the most of it.
More reaction. Harry Kane, England captain, with Kelly Summers.
Well, Harry, you England players have given the fans some memorable nights over the years, but this one's up there, isn't it?
100%. I mean, another semi-final win. It doesn't get more special than that. So, unbelievable tournament so far. We've had to show unbelievable character, resilience, physical strength, mental strength. We've shown it all, but there's still one more to go. And we spoke a lot after the last final about being back here, being back to where we belong, and going that one step further. Now we have the opportunity on Sunday. It'll be a really tough game, of course, but we can just take the belief that we from the last knockout games into that final now.
Talk me through the composure you showed for that penalty.
Yeah, it was a long wait. Obviously, with the VAR now, you're waiting to see if you're getting a penalty, and then obviously it takes a bit of time to clear everyone out of the way. But yeah, I practice them a lot. It's something that can have a big impact on the game. Some people just assume they're easy or assume you just get on with it, but they take a lot of practice, a lot of mental strength as well. And of course, I was really happy to see that one go in.
Happy for Ollie, I imagine, as well. We noticed that you went over to celebrate with him pretty quickly.
Yeah, look, we're a team. All 26 of us. We dig deep. We talk a lot, and we spoke a lot before the tournament about everyone being ready. Whether you play 1 minute, 5 minutes, whether you don't play at all, you can have an impact on this team. You can have an impact on this tournament. And Ollie was a prime example. He's been training well. Of course, he's been itching to get on. Everyone wants to play. Everyone wants to get on. But we've got a world-class squad. So you have to be patient. And when your opportunity comes, you have to take it, like he did today. I mean, what an unbelievable finish. And I mean, that moment will live with him forever.
See you on Sunday.
See you Sunday.
Harry Kane with Kelly Summers. I am loving watching these friends and family, because there are some who, to a certain extent, have been there before and are experienced to this. England obviously have made a final before on home soil, and Phil Foden or Declan Rice, and their family and friends, they've been there and seen it. Adam Wharton's family and friends over there look like having a ride party, and I don't blame them.
Good.
Yeah, exactly.
So they should.
They must think, is it always like this?
Yeah, you've got people that are like kind of raising their eyes like, oh, here again. And then ones that are like, wow, what's going on?
All got a fresh round in, having a little bit of a dance. Honestly, what? I know he hasn't got on there, but even a penny for his thoughts, where he's at your former club, Alan, started his season there, and now he's in the thick of this.
Unbelievable. What a night. Where's that guy gone that's carrying that thing on his back with us selling the pints? We need him here.
Adam Wharton's friends and family are just keeping him round there. He ain't moving.
Send him over here, guys.
Let's get some final thoughts from everybody. Izzy, I'll start with you, because we should have listened to you all along.
Oh, don't go there, Choppers. I remember saying it, and I'll have to have a little word with John Murray if he was shaking his head at me. But no, I think that was a super performance. A lot in it that England can take forward, and I mean, I'm so happy for Ollie Watkins. I keep speaking about it. It's about moments, and Kane spoke about it there. Everyone's got a role to play, and whatever that is, and you've just got to buy into the project, and you've got to be ready, you've got to be sharp. And Watkins comes on, he's got one chance and he does it, and look who's going to Berlin now.
Matt, the stars are aligning, aren't they? Things are happening. This tournament's been like that. At the right moment, the right thing has happened, whether it be a decision, an amazing individual piece of skill, or somebody's done something, the manager's made the right choice. It's just all slotting into place, and it's building momentum, and the performances are getting more assured. The confidence and the arrogance on the pitch is there. It feels good.
I just want, before we hear from Alan, I just want to go back down to the tunnel. Who have you got with you, John, mate?
Well, I've got the man who's become the first England manager to take a team to 2 finals, Gareth Southgate. Congratulations.
No, thank you, John. It's a very special night, and hopefully a special night for everybody at home.
Went through the ringer again?
Well, I suppose in terms of a late goal, but I thought our performance was really good.
Best yet?
Definitely. We showed some signs of that in the last game with the ball, and tonight we felt that you knew with the Netherlands that they have more quality, so they can punish you like they did, but maybe a little bit more opportunity to play. And I thought our midfield players, Phil Foden especially, just kept finding space, getting on the ball. We had a lot of freedom to play. And they had to keep changing what they were doing, which meant we then had to keep changing what we were doing. So
it was very tactical, wasn't it?
It was a very complicated game, particularly defensively. Bukayo did an immense job for us. He started as a wing back, he covered into midfield, he defended as a winger at times. It was one of those nights where everybody had to be really flexible, but the players made so many good decisions on the pitch.
And on the subject of good decisions, substitutions, you bring on those two guys, Palmer and Watkins, and they combine for a stunning goal, really.
No, it was. Look, I mean, we were happy with how Phil and Harry were playing. Harry had definitely had the knock in the first half, but we've got a good bench. We had freshness, and we know that Ollie can make those little runs down the side, which at the beginning of a game can be a problem, but definitely at the end can be an even bigger problem. And Cole has been showing those moments as well. So in many respects, there's no way Phil deserved to come off, but we just thought a bit of freshness and worth going for it before extra time, really.
And so it's a final in Berlin on Sunday against Spain. First time England have been to a final on foreign soil. But I'm sensing here in the dressing room area, the England players we've spoken to, that there is a determination.
Yeah, no question. I mean, this is what we came here to do, and we've been building for 2 years towards this. We've got to enjoy tonight, because you have to enjoy nights like this. But equally, it's such a quick turnaround, and we've got a day less than the team who've been the best in the tournament so far. So it's going to be a very, very tough game. But you wouldn't expect to get to a final and it not be. So, it's fabulous for everybody at home to look forward to.
Great. Well, we'll see you in Berlin then. Thanks, Gareth. Congratulations again.
Some lovely moments down below us, as well as the England players start to come out. Phil Foden's come out to see his friends and family down below, as John Stones has one of his children in his arms. I'm assuming he also then gave a big hug to his mum whilst